on the Infinity Sports Network.
With the 55th pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the Los Angeles Lakers select Bronny James from the University of Southern California.
Yep, that actually happened last night. It did happen. Hey, welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. And we were expecting this. The Lakers were going to draft Bronny James, Perloff, but it doesn't make the Lakers any less of a joke this morning. Good morning. How you doing?
How are they a joke? What's joke? I mean, what did you think they were going to do? Not draft Bronny James?
Well, here's the thing. I don't ever think that LeBron was actually going to leave L.A.
Nobody did.
Right. So why? You've already hired a coach that he has this close relationship with. No matter how much you think that LeBron didn't have a say in JJ getting hired, JJ Redick, that is, he obviously had some kind of influence. I don't think this is just all of a sudden they thought JJ Redick was the best candidate. And they did. They thought Dan Harlow was the best candidate. But you are already having a coach that is basically a LeBron pick. I don't think you had to go to these lengths to try and keep LeBron happy when Bronny James, listen, by all accounts, seems like a nice, grounded, this is not about him taking shots at a teenager. That's not what I'm here for. But it's like, did you really have to go this far to create what people are saying, this magical moment? The magical moment, I'm sorry, I can't get there. I love watching LeBron James play, but to set up this Truman Show style situation where you have a son who's going to get to the NBA, but not by his merits at all, and then he's going to get playing time, Perloff, and that's not at his merits. And I know that nepotism exists in all different parts of our society, but in some ways I kind of thought the elite of athletics is actually the one place where it really can't exist. You can hire your son in the front office. You can hand down a franchise to a son or daughter. Hell, we see this with the Lakers, with Jerry Buss to Jeannie Buss and the Buss brothers. But I really did believe that at the tippy top of the 99.9%, or flip that, the 1%, less than that, of people who get to play professional basketball, that's the one place on the court is where the nepotism can't happen. And that was disproven yesterday.
Well, let me ask you a question. Yeah. If you were Rob Pelinka, GM of the Lakers, would you have drafted Bronny at 55?
I wouldn't have thought I had to.
Would you have drafted LeBron James Jr. at 55?
And yes, and I would know I'm a joke today. And I would have to sit with the fact that I'm a joke. Just like Thanasis Antetokounmpo being Giannis's brother, being on the team is a joke.
Well, it's the rational move by all parties involved.
It doesn't mean I can't criticize them, though.
You could totally criticize it, but if they had not drafted Bronny, that would have been nuts. Like, why would they? 55 is a meaningless pick. I mean, I was trying to look. There are a lot of good second rounders in the NBA. Most of them are in the 30s. So 55, a guy who's not going to make the team, who's not going to play anywhere. And the other thing, too, is, okay, here's where we differ a little bit.
Yeah.
I watched the Bronny workout video the other day, and I watched the combine. He's LeBron James Jr.'s son. He was coming off a cardiac issue last year. Like, I don't know. The genetics are there. Are you positive he's not going to be a good NBA player at some point?
Well, could I see him in college for another year?
Why? I mean, you don't see anybody else in college. Did you see Nikola Topic in college? Like, what are you talking about? It's the NBA draft. None of these guys are all 18-year-old Frenchmen. You didn't see any of them in college anywhere.
I know, but they play professionally over there. Yeah. They do. I mean, you might not like the competition.
Go by those YouTube highlights, and you will not learn anything about what's going to happen in the NBA. Trust me. I read enough about this draft. None of these guys are going to do anything. This is the low-impact draft there's ever been. Bronny James at 55, trust me, there was no Nikola Jokic there that they didn't draft.
Okay.
There was zero opportunity cost at all.
Okay.
0.0.
So here's the problem. Okay, again, we'll talk about is 55 a meaningful pick or not a meaningful pick?
No, that cannot be a discussion because you think that's a meaningful pick. Then
no.
That's just no way that's a meaningful pick.
I don't. But what bothers me about this is a lot of the details. And 55 is not a meaningful pick. So the person who gets chosen 55 can't make demands that they don't want to play in the G League or they don't want to be on a two-way contract. Or if someone else drafts him at 54, heaven forbid, we're going to send his behind to Australia so that he doesn't play for you. Like, this is, I'm talking about the Truman Show. We're this cosplay that Bronny has somehow earned this is insane. So please stop selling me that he's being treated, just like every other 55th pick overall or whatever, because he's not. And when I say the Australia thing, that's something that happened yesterday where Bob Myers, the former Warriors GM, was on the broadcast and said that he's been hearing that Rich Paul was calling other teams saying, don't draft Bronny because if you do, we're sending him to Australia. I mean, come on. You're right. The 55th pick is not important. So why move heaven and earth, make demands, and set all this up? Because it's obviously just about LeBron and the nepotism. Let's not pretend this is about basketball. So you might have liked what you saw from the combine or whatever. This is has nothing to do with basketball.
But okay, let me ask you, why did they have to say don't draft this kid? Because you're going to say
nobody else was going to.
No, I think you're saying because you're afraid that somebody would have drafted him to try and get LeBron, right? That's the fear.
Or maybe to call his bluff a little bit.
But also, I do think you're in your 40s and 50s. You might say, "Oh, this kid's worth a flyer." You might say it. So they don't want that happening, right? So it was a logical move, right? They Clutch had to come out and do this because otherwise, what the heck does I don't know, name a team like what does Dallas care? 48. Why not? Oh, this kid, LeBron James Jr., he can jump 42 inches. Well, let's take him. Is that possible? I mean, it's not without there have been other college players who scored 4 points, probably some big guy somewhere. I mean, listen, the number 3 overall pick wasn't even a starter in Kentucky. Like, there's a lot of speculation here in young draft guys.
Perloff, he's a undersized guard who is coming off of a serious heart condition with other injuries also. Let's not pretend like this is anything but what it is. It's not, Pearl. You cannot say that this is a basketball thing. You're going to sound crazy. I
saw that kid raining threes in the McDonald's game, and I root for a team, the Sixers, who took Markelle Fultz based on his junior year high school tape. They didn't even watch him in college.
And how'd that work out for them?
He went number 1. I'm telling you, NBA.
I know, but it didn't work out. But he's barely hanging on right now in Orlando.
Right, but what are we doing here? Why not create this little moment for the NBA? I don't see. Of course, it's totally phony. I understand that. I'm not like fooling myself into thinking this was a basketball move, but it's sort of like late career Kobe Bryant. Like everyone knew that he was declining, and the Lakers weren't a championship threat. But I would still buy a Kobe ticket. I would go see the Lakers for sure.
Okay, but that's the thing, though. This organization is acting like they still are a championship contender.
Well, they did steal Connect, but yeah.
Right. So this is not the end of Kobe where you're just trying to make a moment. And to be honest, here's the thing. About this moment that's going to happen, whenever it does happen, of Bronny being on the court with LeBron James, to some people, that's going to look like a great moment. That's going to look like a father helping his son and all this stuff. And to other people, it's just going to look like everything that's wrong with nepotism. And the fact that it infiltrated the actual basketball court, like not, and this is another thing why I ask, like, where's this going to end? I've said Bronny's living in this Truman Show where his life is like, it feels like it's all just fabricated around him. So LeBron makes the Lakers draft his son at 55. Mm-hmm. Then what happens when is he going to demand playing time? He already said he doesn't want him on a 2-way contract. He wants him on a guaranteed contract. Is he going to say he can't play for the G League team? Is he going to say, take it easy on my kid in practice? Is the opponent actually going to take it easy on Bronny because they don't want to tick off LeBron James because LeBron has so much power in the league? Like, where does it end? You can say, oh, it's just a ceremonial pick and nothing happens with 55. You don't think LeBron also wants him playing? Again, he doesn't want him embarrassed. I just think that this is going to end up being not this magical moment. It's going to be an ick moment.
So if Game 3 of the NBA season and LeBron throws a alley-oop to Bronny with 4 minutes left in a game, the Lakers are up by 12, you're not going to say, oh, that was awesome?
I think
you're going to say, oh, gosh, the state of nepotism? Really?
Yes,
you're not going to enjoy this?
It's just a reminder. And I'm reminded every day because I got to think about the Buss family who own the Lakers. and people are like, oh, nepotism, LA is such an industry town and nepotism exists. Like, yeah, and it's not great, guys. Like, yeah, sometimes it works out and sometimes you have families who are super, super, super talented. But, like, this isn't a good thing, right? Like, this isn't something we hold up and say, wow, awesome. We all love nepotism around here. Like, come on.
I don't know. To say this basketball move is like, you have to stick with it and not root for this situation because all of a sudden this is all about nepotism. It's like LeBron James or LeBron James Jr. Just put on your Lakers jersey and enjoy, Maggie. I don't know why you have to make this about the state of society and privilege and all that. Like, who cares? Well, it's LeBron James.
I'm just saying you can look at it the way you want to look at it, and I'm going to look at it the way I want to look at it, which is this is just – and I'm a LeBron fan here, and you're not even the LeBron fan. I am.
Wait, that's not fair. Of course I'm a LeBron fan.
Oh, you call me the LeBron fan around here.
Well, yeah, but no, because of the LeBron Jordan debate. I'm a huge fan of LeBron James. He's definitely the second best player of all time.
Okay, so this is about him.
But here's the thing. You're going to enjoy it just like the rest of us. You're going to tune in to watch LeBron James and Bronny because why not? What else do you have to do in the NBA regular season? Watch a bunch of meaningless games with guys you've never heard of? Like, of course, this is going to be awesome.
It's the setup. It's the demands that are being met on somebody who, no matter who it is, you would never allow another 55th overall pick. You wouldn't acquiesce to this stuff. It's not just that he's there. It's like the amount that they're going to try to influence what Bronny's NBA journey is going to be like, even though this is just only about LeBron's ego. And to be honest, we're always confronted with LeBron's ego, and we go along with it. Why? Because he's an all-time great player who we like watching. Bronny hasn't earned our eyeballs yet.
Well,
Maybe he will, but not yet.
Is it? And this could be I'm curious if you think this is the same thing. When Kobe Bryant demanded, "Don't draft me, I'm going to the Lakers," and it wasn't just the Nets; it was 28 teams. There might have been, what was did he say I'd go to the Knicks? I can't remember. There was one other team he would be, the Clippers. Regardless,
right?
Was that bad because he put demands on that he hadn't earned yet?
I think it's distasteful. Yeah.
But Kobe did that. It kind of all worked out. It was great for the NBA.
I mean, Kobe was a phenom, and Bronny is not. So
right. So you're fine with what Kobe did.
You have the leverage. Whatever Bronny can do what he wants.
It's not a debate. Just answer the question. You were fine with Kobe.
I don't really care. I mean, to be real, like you're asking me, like I don't really care. Like he was a high school kid. It was going to be a risk. So if you were going to call for that stupid ass bluff because his agent said that we were going to go wherever we went, then that's on you, Charlotte or New Jersey or whoever. Like I don't care about that to me.
Could you say the same thing about Bronny last night then? Like
no.
if you're going to fall for the Australia bluff,
right?
I'm curious, and I kind of agree.
Were you
with
okay with Eli Manning and him doing that?
Of course. Why would I care about it? Yes, it worked out great. That was one of the best things that ever happened to the NFL.
Okay, but don't play the result. Play the process.
Yeah, I was totally fine. No. I agreed with it. I remember when Eli did that. I'm like, yeah, the Chargers seemed like a mess. That was a smart move. Like, didn't everybody? Wasn't that the mainstream thought? People were ripping Eli?
Well, again, we're also not even, it's actually not apples to apples. I should have brought that up because we're talking about the number one overall pick or Kobe, who is a first round pick, no doubt. This is Bronny, 55 overall. What second round pick has ever put a demand on anybody?
That's the thing that's troublesome because you have Rob Pelinka saying that they drafted Bronny because he has this great work ethic and that he has a great character. There's no reason to believe that he does not have a great work ethic or a great character, but it's hard to put that in my face and then put a Nike ad that says pressure was never a question when passion has always been the answer, but yet you don't want to work out against anybody. Yet you don't want to work out for half the teams in the NBA.
You want a guaranteed contract.
You want a guaranteed contract. You don't want to work your way through the G League. You don't want any other team to draft you. You may go to Australia if another team even thinks about putting your name into that draft selection. Like, it's hard for me to juxtapose, hey, this great kid, this great character, this guy that's willing to do anything, who's worked hard to get to this moment, and also all this other manipulated stipulations by Rich Paul and LeBron James and say that this is the same. It's not.
But don't you guys want to see this dynamic? Don't you want to see the Griffey thing of it all where there's a father and son on the same NBA team? You guys aren't excited about this?
No. And here's the thing. The thing about Griffey was we knew Junior was going to be an all-time player.
Another phenom.
Right. But listen, the Jameses were not the Griffeys. There's no doubt about it. They're closer to the Michael Jordan and his son. But there's this opportunity that just sort of happened where LeBron has extended his career to this ridiculous point, and his son is old enough. Like, we get to see a father-son play in the NBA. I understand the process is far from ideal, but this is going to be one of the 2 or 3 most exciting things about the 2024-2025 NBA season, and I'm excited for it.
But here's the thing. It's manipulated. It's fabricated.
Yeah, so what? The entire sports world is fabricated. I mean, this stuff happens all the time. It is
It does not happen all the time.
There are picks that are made, late-round picks that have all sorts of reasons, like doing favors to agents, and I'm sure that kind of stuff happens.
Okay, but that person doesn't make a demand that they need a guarantee. First of all, Bronny's the last person who needs a guaranteed contract if you're talking about the money aspect of it. But there's those people who are late-round picks for favors or whatever, don't demand that they go where they want to go. They don't demand that they want the guaranteed contract. They don't demand that, I don't know about playing in the G League. I mean, it's different, and it feels very there's an ick factor to this.
I totally understand what you're saying, but I think you're ignoring the actual unique situation here where LeBron James is still in the NBA and his son can come join him.
Right.
None of that, all the normal 7th round picks, like that is such a big thing. Like this has to happen. Honestly, I was thinking about this. You guys will probably hate this.
What's that?
But if I'm any other team in the NBA, 29 teams, I do not draft Bronny in the 2nd round, even if I like him, because I think like LeBron has done enough for the NBA that we should help this story along. Like, honestly, like, I think everybody, Rich Paul shouldn't have even had to threaten other teams. What kind of jerk team would draft Bronny and ruin this?
So if you think LeBron has earned the right to sort of manipulate this
Yes.
and kind of get where he
Yes.
wants. I saw that a lot yesterday, and I can actually understand where you're coming from. But I ask you, like, I know this is a very unique situation, but where does that end? Because now if I'm Steph Curry, it's not going to be his kid maybe, but do I want somebody drafted down the road? Like how many favors are going to get done here to the point where then it becomes more of a joke and more of a joke and more of a joke? Because LeBron has done a lot for the league, but he's not the only guy.
Wait, give me a situation, any possible situation. There's nothing that is ever going to be like this again. Nothing
Say
even
that.
close.
Well, maybe
Steph
not
Curry's
like this.
kids. Steph Curry's kids are like.
I'm not saying Steph even has to be playing. It doesn't have to be the exact same situation. But I'm saying you're doing for the good of the game stuff on people who don't actually deserve to be in the NBA. Where does that end? Right?
I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, I think other teams will take advantage of that and it'll be about winning. So it's not a big problem. Do you really think like, oh, no, this is the end of competitiveness in the NBA because Bronny's a Laker?
No, I'm just saying it's probably not. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the last time we see something like this because now LeBron has opened the door.
Well, let's see. Jason Tatum's 27 and
Yeah,
that
where's Deuce?
kitty threw up in the air is 5.
Again, it might
I
not
gotta
be
do
the
the
exact
math
same
here.
thing.
And if it is, who cares? We're going to get more neat stories. I just think you guys are going to be all into this in the fall. Like, oh, man, it's going to be fun to see with LeBron to LeBron. What's the downside here? What else are you going to watch? The in-season tournament? That's your thing?
No, I
To watch
I think it's
the Grizzlies and the T-Wolves play in Vegas in October? I'd much rather watch LeBron versus Bronny.
Okay, so I think it's the demands that the James camp has on this, which feels kind of icky. All right, you want to get him in the door, but as you always say, when you're going to cheat, don't get 100 on the test. You get him in the door, okay, maybe you could say, fine, LeBron's earned it. But then on top of it, it's all the other perks that he's going to get off of this. Like, he doesn't even have to earn it now that he's in the door because he's going to be on the roster and he's going to get playing time. And guys might take it easy on him and they might not want to tick off LeBron James and the coaches aren't going to get up in his ass and all that stuff. So, like, when he's not having anywhere close to, like, a true, even somewhat true NBA experience.
But that sounds like a Lakers problem, not an us problem. Like, I mean, they're not getting on Bronny in practice. Like, who cares?
Well,
like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, why is that going to affect any sports fan?
Because I don't want to be told that it was about basketball. And I don't want to be told that it was about just Bronny's grit. Because there's none of that ever came into it. And I feel like I'm being sold something. You talk about this all the time. You said, you're coming around on the Olympics, which is great. But something that bothers you about it is like the marketing. And you feel like you're being sold something. This is the ultimate you're being sold something.
Nobody, what kind of foolish NBA fan would not notice that LeBron James, wait, oh my God, who's that young guy that looks like LeBron? Oh, that's his son. Everyone knows every NBA fan knows the deal here, right? No one's being sold anything. If you don't know what's going on here, then you're oblivious.
How do you watch that draft last night and say nobody's being sold something?
Because I didn't watch the second round. I watched the first hour, and it looked like a bad episode of Inside the NBA. Like, Bob Myers yawned.
Okay, that's fine.
Yawned.
Okay, that's fine. Well, I did watch it. And I had to watch basically a 20-minute
infomercial
about how there's no risk to drafting the Bronny James. Bronny James actually earned this.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the fact that he had a serious, very serious medical situation that for any other prospect, we may say, hey, this may be a red flag, and maybe we should maybe sit him down for a year, maybe make him go another year in college. It was all this, how dare you even bring up nepotism because we have GMs whose sons are also in the NBA.
But by the way,
can't say
that heart condition could be a
when that
plus,
is literally being sold by the NBA.
But that heart condition could be a gigantic plus. Like, oh, he had an injury, and like we didn't see the real LeBron James Jr. yet. That's what I think. I think they were. By the way, I bet you there were teams sniffing around him as a prospect. I mean, do you don't think like that? He's interesting in some ways. I mean, does have the genes. I can't ignore that.
In the chat, youtube.com/InfinitySportsNet, twitch.tv/InfinitySportsNet. Our own Andrew Kaplan. When Bronny steps on the court with LeBron, it's going to be amazing TV. People are going to be bawling their eyes out. It's going to be an emotional moment. I think a lot of people are kind of sick of LeBron. And this is sort of the feather on top of that, the cherry on top of the sundae of just like, oh, my God.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like
more ego.
All-time Nike commercial. It's when I hope there's an alley-oop, too. That's going to be great.
The Nike commercial's already out. Nike's been sitting on this one. But,
get them
Nike
both
need
in Lakers
this to sell shoes?
Well,
Anyway.
it's still kind of cool. Like, honestly, NBA, everyone, I know they just did this $50 billion TV deal, but there's nothing to watch. Like, just might as well tune in the playoffs, right? Like, obviously, regular season is somewhat meaningless. This is the best thing going next year. Single best thing going. Because there are no rookies coming to the league. Maybe Wemby and this.
855-212-4227. This is about you today. It's about you every day. Want to hear how you guys feel about this Bronny thing because we're just on total opposite sides. Like, I just think it's just so what's wrong with, I would say society. There's a lot wrong with society, but it's just so, it's like ick to me. This is not about Bronny. I'm not taking out a 19-year-old, but I don't like anything about this. Perloff sees it as, what?
I'm like excited to watch the Lakers next year. I could care less about what they say on the draft. Stephen A. Smith did zero homework for this entire draft. Like, that didn't bother anyone? All of a sudden you're bothered because they were saying nice things about Bronny? The fact that he had never heard of, the 14th pick? That doesn't bother anyone, but this bothers you?
Listen, Stephen A. has been busy. Someone's got to fire off the Caitlin Clark takes. 855-212-4227. See you guys on the phones. Come on into the chat, youtube.com/InfinitySportsNet.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. Big debate this morning. Is everything wrong about the Lakers drafting LeBron James in the second round, LeBron James Jr. rather, in the second round? I just looked at the depth chart, and there's 2 LeBron James on there. I'm curious, does anyone know if they talked about what the jerseys say?
Well, Bronny in college wore James Jr.
Right,
on the back.
It's a James Jr.
So I wasn't sure if LeBron would put senior on his. Did you guys see many people made this joke last night on social media, but it's still funny where they said, wow, LeBron sleeping with his teammate's mother.
Yeah, like Zach Wilson.
Stay classy.
Yeah, I like that one. By the way, you know what really disappointed me on the name front? There was another Jalen Williams in the draft in the second round. Where did he go? Did he go to?
He did not go to the Thunder.
Oh, what a disappointment!
Everyone was disappointed by that.
Gotta have a sense of humor on that one.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, if you're going to manipulate the draft to give Bronny to the Lakers, why can't you manipulate the draft to give the Thunder another Jalen Williams?
Was it the same spelling as either of the other two?
It's
Another
completely
different
different
spelling, which is hilarious.
Is it Jaylyn or something?
Jaylyn.
Yes, it was. The other two are spelled differently as well,
Yes.
right? Anyway, LeBron James Jr. went to the Lakers. Maggie, very bothered by it. A lot of people, not just Maggie, a lot of people think this whole process was totally fishy. I'm just want to see the alley-oop in the fall. And then
Who's throwing it to who, though?
I think Bronny James Jr. is going to, listen, I don't even know how to say his name. Bronny James Jr. the third will catch the alley-oop.
From Dad.
Yeah, because I saw a workout video. This is, I basically go on clips. That dude was way over the rim on a dunk. Like, he's got vertical. The kids, by the way, can we just talk for 1 second? His dad is LeBron James. Are you sure that he's not going to be good?
Well, LeBron's 6'8", 250 or whatever, and that's not Bronny's game.
What if you had a 6'1" version of LeBron? He might be okay.
Okay, but here's the question. Before the heart issue, and he was a McDonald's All-American, right? If he was this great basketball player, again, USC, no disrespect to USC, but why wasn't he playing at Duke? Why wasn't he playing at UConn? Even that, I know they wanted him close to home, so I guess LeBron could see the games.
So what?
LeBron's on the road 6 months out of the year.
Where was Alex Sarr, the number 2 pick? I read that he was afraid of the big boy leagues and went all the way over to Australia.
Australia's way better than college basketball. Come on.
Well, the criticism on Sarr was he kept going down and down in leagues, the quality of leagues, because he didn't want the big competition.
I would strongly disagree about Australia being worse than college basketball.
But here's the thing. Alex Sarr, if he sucks, he's going to be a bust. Bronny, it doesn't matter how he plays. He's going to get to be on the Lakers no matter how long Dad's there, and maybe longer. Let's hit the phones, 855-212-4227. Here's Josh. He's in Philly. What's up, Joshy?
Hi, Mrs. Gray. How are you?
Doing good. What's up?
Before I say what I called for, I just wanted to say, Mr. Perloff, I've always liked your content, and I do miss you every morning on the Dan Patrick Show, but I am glad to see that you got your own gig now. And
thanks,
I love listening to you every morning.
Oh, thank you, Josh. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I see a lot of people at least are all upset about Bronny James and this, but I kind of think LeBron has earned that right, to be able to play with his son and maybe manipulate it a little bit because of his career. And I also think that if Michael Jordan's son, would have wanted to play basketball, I mean, I think he would have went in the first round, and I think it would be a much bigger deal. That's just my opinion.
Right. Well, Michael, don't you think, Josh, that LeBron James Jr. has a better chance of being a decent pro than Michael Jordan Jr., who was a role player at Illinois?
I mean, I'm not going to doubt Bronny James. I mean, we all know who his father is. I mean, I think he's probably going to end up having a good career.
Okay,
Yes.
but it's funny, and Josh, I understand where you're coming from, but if we're talking about genes, wouldn't the Jordan kids who actually had a better college career than Bronny, the other Jordan kid played at UCF, right?
Marcus was a good player.
UCF, 20-win team in college.
He went to the tournament. He's playing Zion Williamson in the tournament. Like,
I think obviously if Jordan wanted to pull some strings to get his kid drafted, Jordan owns a team. I mean, that would be the ultimate nepotism. He could have gotten his kid and he didn't do it. I think the other part too, and Josh, thanks for the call, dude. Thanks for the kind words. I think it would be one thing to just get your kid in the door, right? Say you're the CEO of the company, your son graduates college or your daughter graduates, you want to get him in the door, maybe they start in the mailroom or they start someplace low on the totem pole. It doesn't feel like we're getting that. It feels like you get right to the C-suite alongside dad, and like he's going to get exposed when he's on the court.
We don't have time for all that. we don't. Like, there's an urgency here. LeBron, first of all, he's 40. I don't know. He's talking about playing longer, but he could get hurt. He could, you're 40. Trust me. I stepped on a cobblestone and almost tore my Achilles. I was just complaining to EJ about that. We have a big kickball game tomorrow, by the way.
know.
We got to get into that later because your boy is really worried about running to first base.
you know, like John Carlos Stanton run the bases.
Oh, yeah. I might
Bryce
need a
Harper
pinch
last
runner.
night, it looked like he got shot.
Oh.
By the way, I'm
Sorry.
definitely, if I get to first base, Maggie, you're coming in and pinch running for me.
I'm already finding ways.
That upright style round in second.
I'm the last person you want.
Yeah, we got to get video. If you guys have ever seen Forrest Gump play kickball, that's Maggie running the bases. But, by the way, look, I saw Jordan's kids. You could tell that they were not going to be good NBA players. I think it's a little harder to tell with Bronny.
Well, just because Bronny hasn't played basketball enough.
He looks more athletic than they did. That's my scouting report.
Well done. Let's get to Andrew Bogusch, who's got headlines for us. We will get more into the kickball game, by the way, which Bogusch has somehow found a way to get out of.
I just said no.
So jealous right now.
To get out
2.5 hours away.
I was asked about if we wanted to play, and I said I can't make it. It was very easy, Maggie.
Darn it. Felt like that wasn't an option for you and me, Pearl.
Yeah, you got to hear there's more to this story. There's a commuting, how we're getting to Jersey issue alone.
That was a long email that I did not read.
That Bogusch answer was hilarious. It reminds me of the Deadpool movie when Deadpool's friend is just like, I would help you, but I don't want to.
Right.
How'd you get out of this? I said no.
You have to teach us that trick.
concept.
What's going on today?
The Eagles, they are still tired from 2 Super Bowls ago. The Sixers passed on Dalton Connect, and now the Phillies are dropping like flies.
This one's to the right side, gobbled up by the second baseman. Lopez throws to Scott on the run. That's a heck of a play, and Bryce is hurt. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. The Phillies lose the game 7-4. They lost Kyle Schwarber a couple innings ago, and now Bryce Harper looks like he's hurt.
Harper grabbing at his left hamstring while running to first, making the final out of this game.
Something lower hammy, just a little bit. So we're gonna get an image tomorrow just to see what that looks like, and see how I, kind of feel tomorrow, and go from there.
And as McCarthy mentioned, Kyle Schwarber left in the top of the ninth with left groin tightness. He played the field for the 3rd time only this season. And couldn't survive.
That's me, by the way. I'm going to be Kyle Schwarber at the kickball game. Basically, go for a home run and then just go to the bench. Baseball injuries, right? A slight tweak in the hamstring means we'll see him in 3.5 years.
Yeah.
Is that how it works?
He's not a Met, so he'll keep his leg, which is nice.
Yeah.
It would have been tough if they had to amputate.
Was that John Kruk in the booth?
Yes.
Right?
Damn.
I saw the funniest thing. I saw an impersonation. My Twitter feed hit me. Chris Farley doing John Kruk back in 1993 when the Phillies had that really good year. It is The funniest thing, it's the impression I didn't know I needed, but just like, is that objective? Damn. I'm like, are you a fan or a color analyst here?
John Kruk has a 100% approval rating among all baseball fans, I feel like, including Mets fans. I don't know who doesn't like John Kruk.
Do you guys remember when Randy Johnson was in the All-Star game and John Kruk had to go up and Randy was at the height of his powers and he threw inside to John Kruk on the first pitch and John Kruk basically was crying the rest of the at-bat? He's awesome.
He switched to the right side and flipped his helmet around so he could hit the other way and be as protected as possible. So it wasn't lefty on lefty.
Yeah, this sounds bad though. Lower hamstring. Was it upper hamstring? Lower.
He said lower. I don't know if that's good or bad.
He grabbed at the upper though. Well, whatever.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah,
whatever. It ain't good.
He definitely went down to the ground.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So much for that MV3, Pearl.
I know. I'm bummed. His numbers are so good right now. Anyway.
The Reds 11-4 winners in St. Louis last night. The Angels blanked the Tigers 5-zip. Davis Daniel allowed just 4 hits, struck out 8 over 8 in his first big league start. U.S. men's soccer is in some trouble at Copa America. They played 70-plus minutes down a man last night after Tim Weah received a red card for hitting a Panamanian player in the head after a collision. Head coach Greg Berhalter.
Silly decision by Timmy. Leaves us shorthanded. It led to, some strange circumstances for sure.
The U.S. did take a 1-0 lead shortly after Weah's ejection, but Panama got even quickly, and then Jose Fajardo scored the winner in the 83rd minute. The 2-1 loss means the U.S. likely needs to upset Uruguay on Monday night in KC to reach the knockout stage. Caitlin Clark scored 15 points, but the Fever lost 89-77 in Seattle. They've now dropped 2 in a row after that 4-game win streak. The Aces have won 3 straight, 4 of 5, after a 95-83 final in Chicago, 31 points from Asia Wilson. Steve Kerr said yesterday that USA Basketball expects all 12 non-Jalen Brunson players selected for the Paris Olympics to report to training camp next week in Vegas. That'll include Kawhi Leonard, whose postseason ended early because of lingering right knee issues.
Yeah, you guys are mad about Bronny. What about this Kawhi thing? Every headline is like, everyone's showing up, including Kawhi, question mark?
Honestly, would you be surprised if Bronny somehow becomes an alternate on this team? When's it going to stop?
Now you're getting
When's
paranoid.
it going to stop?
Yeah, you're getting paranoid.
He'll probably be the flag bearer. I mean,
I love the fact
running
that
in with the torch.
He went from 55 to now he's a first-team All-Star. Just a piece of nenepotism.
He's setting up for a max contract.
I know. I like Maggie's idea. Since I'm watching Game of Thrones again, he could be like LeBron's squire.
Yeah.
He could
It's a hand.
The right hand.
Cupbearer.
Yeah, by the way, I know not a lot of people are watching that show. I'm back on. Gruesome. Anyway, back to you.
I haven't watched. I started this morning on the train watching the last episode of the first season to remind myself what happened before I start watching season 2.
I saw a very interesting critique from our buddy KFC at Barstool that there are no dragons in the new season. It's called House of Dragons. He said there are very few dragons.
Well, if you will watch it, you'll understand they're on load management.
Yeah, is that what's happening?
Legit. They need load management. They were so much a part of last season that they're all tired.
They overdid the dragons? Okay. Oh, I
saw
love
someone
it.
complain also that they're too small. Like they're not like apparently they should be bigger compared to whatever Daenerys was saying about like whatever Daenerys said in Game of Thrones.
It's dragons that don't deserve to be in the fight or in the front lines.
Basically, Maggie.
When does it end, guys?
This explains why Maggie's so upset about Bronny James Jr. It's about the fall of the House of Targaryen over the years by too much nepotism led to the realm suffering.
It wasn't nepotism.
The realm.
Yeah. It's incest. But the other part is, people think that I am a product of that I got a boost in this business.
Oh, because
people think that I'm somehow related to Jim Gray, and I'm not. It's like,
Yeah.
you're only here because what is he, your uncle? It's like, no, I've never even met him.
We should find everybody. Does everybody have someone whose name is like their last name? We could just like say, oh yeah, that's my cousin or my uncle.
Yeah, right.
Not me, actually. But
I can just say, DJ Stewart is the reason why I'm here. Mets utility infielder
Mike
or outfielder,
Bellotti.
whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say Bellotti, Bogusch, and Perloff. I don't know.
Yeah,
Bellotti's got a good one.
Yeah.
There's a Bellotti,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, Mike Bellotti.
Yeah, Mike Bellotti.
Bogusch, not so much.
Nothing. I'm the one. I'm the
Jake.
beginning.
You're the first of his name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jake, Jack, they're all following my footsteps.
Does your kid get any boost because you work in the sports industry, or like coaches like, whoa, I don't want to hear a bad update, or
He'll take me out on WFAN.
Not that I know of yet.
walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
I got to
be
tell you,
careful.
Maggie, the other funny thing is, Maggie, you have a son. You're definitely going to leverage your sports celebrity to get him on a team. That's the ironic part about all this.
A team or
say,
on a broadcast?
Coach will know very well that you work in the sports industry when he's deciding how much playing time to give your son. Trust me, I've seen it.
I'm not doing that.
That's a heavy accusation.
Oh, yes, you're not doing that. Yeah, right. You're telling me you're not going to say, hey, Coach, you might want to put Lucas in because I can talk about you on Monday.
I wouldn't do that.
I mean, I played. I mean, my fifth grade team. I played with Mike Breen's son.
Oh yeah, you don't think that Bronny was getting the outside shot? And everyone was yelling,
No,
bang!
it was the opposite. Michael was such a nice kid, but he was not great. So he did not play a lot. He did not get a lot of shots. Like they did not do the whole thing of like, oh, give it to Breen. Like, so I don't know. That's one example.
Mike Breen's got integrity.
Yeah, that's true. He was the assistant coach.
See?
No way on earth you wouldn't do something to help your son athletically. There's zero chance. And
No,
you'd be a bad mom if you didn't use that advantage.
No, I wouldn't be like, I would not say, oh, you need to give him playing time, blah, blah, because you know who I am. I'd be like, would you like to meet someone more famous than me? Can I interest you? Yeah, can I interest you in Andrew Perloff? Would you like to meet McLovin?
No, wait. No. You will do this. This is the funny part. That is why you're sensitive, because you are already planning to have your son be the next Bronny James
You're
Jr.
right. Foiled. I'm going to make him quarterback of the football team when he's 8.
And if you don't think the other dads are aware of who Jake Bogusch's son is, then you're crazy. I noticed it when I was out there watching a game.
I apparently don't know who he is. You keep trying to talk about him.
And I'm assuming it was you, EJ, but somebody from the Infinity Sports Network Instagram account commented on a picture of Jake. Good luck, Jack. And I was like, your coworkers think his name is Jack. I'm like, it's a long story. You don't worry about it.
It was not me.
Maybe Kaplan?
Maybe.
Last thing from me, guys, a major loss for the NFL yesterday. An LA jury ruling the league owes nearly $4.8 billion to fans and bars and restaurants over the price of Sunday ticket. The jury deciding the NFL and its TV partners conspired to charge inflated prices without any competition. The league obviously disagrees, says it'll appeal. This case began in 2015. It's now 2024. It's long from over. It could end up as far as the Supreme Court.
You can't see on the radio, I'm doing the Johnny Manziel money fingers. Daddy wants a new something here. Well, we getting paid as Sunday ticket subscribers?
How much do you think we're going to get?
Yeah, I know. Does anyone know? Is it
Spending.
going to be $32? Yeah. Is it going to be like the tax rebate? Are we all getting a check from the NFL?
And it's just enough for lunch.
And that's the case the Supreme Court needs right now.
Yeah, right.
But
There's
actually,
nothing else going on in the world.
It is quite an important antitrust case. It has a lot, because all these, anyway, regardless, it is actually a huge case.
Well, if you want to dig really deep down the antitrust road with the NFL, you'll be here for a long time.
Yeah, I know. Right. That's probably
the
why
whole
the
league will
Supreme
get blown up.
But yeah, we're
tax exempt NFL. They don't have issues. Yeah.
My 1 year of working as a paralegal, I could sue the NFL for antitrust improvement.
Perloff v. NFL. That'd be great.
I don't even want money now. I just want, I got the email the other day. It's $400 to renew. I just drop a zero off that. That's all I care. Give me that $70 ESPN package that's been that's the crux of this argument.
It's probably gonna be next season.
Yeah. Okay, but here's the thing though. If I thought that you only get to pick then one team to follow. If you want every team, it's still going to cost a lot.
Well, that's one of the options that should happen after this too. Is that you can just pick. I want Packers games,
right?
But it's got to come down in price. That's the whole part of it. Is that you're saying it's worth this, but there's no way to know what it's worth because you've kicked everybody else out of the conversation.
Right. There's only one place to get this, and they get to charge whatever they want.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's it feels illegal. Not gonna lie.
Definitely.
We'll get more into it. 855-212-4227. Thank you, Bogusch. Coming up, hey, we found Aaron Rodgers. Where has he been? We'll tell you next.
You're in a 5-minute break.
He's got a thing for the pop scene. Peter Bellatti's got a thing for the pop scene queen. Dua Lipa on his mind, she reigns supreme. Every morning starts with "Don't Start Now." He's dancing in the kitchen, taking a bow. Oh, Peter Bellotti loves Dua. What can he do? Her beats in his heart through and through. From new rules to levitating. posters on the wall, her vinyl spin, every lyric memorized, each little grin. At every party, he's her number one fan, talking about her tours and her master plan. When the One Kiss song plays, Peter Bellotti's on his feet, singing every word, oh so sweet. He dreams of a concert, front row seat, cheering for Dua, that would be neat. Oh, Peter Bellotti loves Dua, what can he do? Her beats in his heart through and through. From physical to cold heart, in Peter Bellotti's life, Dua's a work of art. So here's Peter Bellotti with his Dua love so strong in a world of music.
Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
What the is Aaron Rodgers up to today?
So glad you asked. Perloff, we all remember 2 weeks ago when Aaron Rodgers had an unexcused absence from mandatory minicamp with the New York Jets.
Right.
Became a thing.
Big thing.
Because nobody knew where he was. It's very unusual that starting quarterbacks would miss mandatory minicamp. So we've been scouring the earth because literally Rodgers could be anywhere.
We knew it. We thought he was overseas. We knew he was overseas.
We knew he was overseas.
So we didn't scour this continent. But we
Right.
scoured the other continents.
That's true. The other part of the earth. Well, we found out. Where has Rodgers been? Here's his former teammate, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, on Colin Cowherd.
Me and Aaron been great friends since I've been in Green Bay. I hit him up, told him I was coming out to LA, and said, let's run some routes. So we got it in, man. Went out to some high school and ran some routes together. So it was good. It was good.
Yeah, so all the New York media can stand down. Aaron Rodgers is back from Egypt. It's not a secret anymore.
Yep. He was in Egypt. That was the unexcused absence, Perloff. Presumably just a vacation in Egypt. I don't know if there was anything more to the story. Egypt's a cool place to go. I've been lucky enough to go there to see the pyramids in person, the Sphinx, all the temple, Karnak, and amazing things is worth it. But it does seem like something you could plan, around a mandatory minicamp.
Yeah,
Pyramids
but
aren't going anywhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of logistics with these things. We were recently buying plane tickets. It's so annoying. You have to wait on hold for like an hour if you have to call.
Yeah.
And especially if you're using miles. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it, Aaron.
Are you going to get the upgrade to first class is always a question for Aaron.
No, it's once again a mystery. Why couldn't this trip have happened a week later? Any clue?
Again, pyramids have been around thousands and thousands and thousands of years. That's part of the whole appeal about seeing the pyramids. They're not going anywhere. Now, EJ has a theory about why Aaron Rodgers just had to see the pyramids and it couldn't wait. What's your theory?
So, Aaron Rodgers, known conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
The pyramids in Egypt, conspiracy number one, maybe the original conspiracy. Like, how did the ancient Egyptians make these incredible structures?
Right.
Some people think it's aliens. That is a theory that's out there.
Yeah.
Aliens, maybe people from the future came into the past and somehow made these pyramids.
When you say people think this, not people we call archaeologists.
No, and
no
not
scientists.
And to be clear, not anyone on the show. I'm just saying what the conspiracies out there. It's like the original. Doesn't JFK or the original conspiracies basically?
Yeah, right. Moon landing. Yeah.
And apparently Aaron Rodgers has talked about pyramids. Like he's very interested in them. That's something that he's talked about in the past. So I think he went to Egypt because he wanted to get a first-hand look at this and to kind of get maybe a boots-on-the-ground report on how did this really happen. Do your own research. He's a big do your own research guy. This is him saying, I don't need Jets minicamp. I need to do my own research on something important, like how were the pyramids made in Egypt.
Sure.
But he doesn't believe it's he believes it's the Tartarian Empire, right? That's his thing.
Who's that?
Rodgers thinks it's an ancient empire that was washed away in a flood, a super ancient earthbound. Remember the conspiracy? Remember the thing that Tartarians? How humans? All these buildings get built?
Are they also humans?
They were all built before, and people are taking credit for things that were there hundreds.
So he just wants to make sure that the credit gets doled out. So it shouldn't be the ancient Egyptians who get the, it's not Menzies or whatever who get Ramses should not get credit for this.
Is that also the theory with like Atlantis? Is that because I know there's a theory that like the people of Atlantis like were washed away and they're now underwater, which is why they're not here.
Well, it's not just the pyramids; it's all these big fancy buildings that like
Stonehenge, I guess, or whatever.
It's called the QAnon of architecture.
Oh, really?
So it's buildings. Yeah, every great architectural feat was actually the Tartarians.
Huh?
Which is a great name, by the way.
It sounds like something from Game of Thrones. The Tartarians.
Definitely does.
You guys don't remember this podcast? We did this actual topic.
I don't remember this.
Like a month and a half ago, he was on a podcast talking about ancient civilizations doing buildings. We actually talked about this. It's got to be what he's going on. It's not. I don't think it's aliens. I think that would be fun. Don't get me wrong, and it could be. But I think it's more.
Yeah, you're just asking questions.
More in Atlantis-like ancient peoples that were washed away in a flood, apparently.
Got it. All right. Well, again, probably something that could have waited a week. I don't think that had to happen during Jets mandatory minicamp, which is why I understand why the Jets wouldn't excuse it. It's like, sorry, I have to go on a fact-finding mission to find an ancient civilization that no one else who actually works in this field has been able to nail down.
Yeah, I see here a quote from Aaron Rodgers. He told Bravo, it's very interesting stuff about the theory that a lost ultra-advanced civilization of maybe aliens or giants built the 1915 World's Fair or the Singer Building in New York City, which is actually true. Quote, what is actually true? That we've been told what is a lie. They go, why does it effing matter? Because they can lie about that. What else can they lie about?
He thinks there were giants? Like, not the New York Giants, like bigger people roaming the earth?
This is what I'm reading from the Daily Beast.
Oh, boy. Well, he's back, everybody.
Good luck, Jets.
Wow. LeBron James Jr. in the NBA. You cool with it?
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
It is LeBron James's world, and we are all just living in it, including his son Bronny, who was drafted by the Lakers yesterday, 55th pick overall. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. And Pearl, I think there's only maybe two ways you can kind of look at this thing, maybe more. Either you think this is a great, heartwarming story of a father and son getting to realize a dream that seems like maybe it's more for the father, but whatever. And that this is going to be a great moment for the NBA. Or you think this is a flat-out joke. And I think that's generally where the line is. You either think that the Lakers are, acquiescing to LeBron, drafting somebody who, and his son who, on his own merit, does not deserve to be drafted, whether you think a 55th overall pick means anything or not. It's not going to stop there. They're making demands that he doesn't want to be on a non-guaranteed contract. He might not want to play in the G League. We'll see about that. There may be demands put on playing time. You think J.J. Redick's saying no to LeBron? I mean, J.J.'s the new head coach of the Lakers. If LeBron says, I want to get Bronny in, is J.J. going to say no? It's going to lead to more problems for J.J. than anything. He's going to have his plate full already. So, heartwarming story or more of a joke? Where do you fall?
Heartwarming sounds ridiculous, but definitely a good thing for the NBA. This was good that Bronny James Jr. is a Laker because it's going to be a great story next year, and everybody's going to watch it. And what's the downside? What are we losing here? Like, what do I care as a sports fan if he manipulated the second round of the draft? Like, why does that affect me in any possible way?
Well, here's the thing about the Lakers: they have one of the biggest fan bases in all of professional sports. They have a worldwide appeal. Why do they need to do this kind of publicity stunt, which is exactly what it is? Now, the Lakers are a bit of a clown show, so maybe they're not above anything, but they're the last team that would need this. I would get it if the Charlotte Hornets needed something like this, or, Memphis or the Orlando Magic or, Washington Wizards, a team that doesn't pull. But the Lakers don't need to do the publicity thing.
But wouldn't it have been disappointing for everybody if he'd gone to, say, Detroit or Charlotte? What's the point of that?
So here's what I think would have been not disappointing. Let's see Bronny play in college for another year. Why not see if he can actually be a first-round pick? Let's see if he can develop a little bit more. Because
then you really risk that he'll miss LeBron. I mean, it's a real risk.
I know, but see, I don't care about this story.
You're not going to want to see them play together?
To me, when I watch this, it doesn't reinforce all the good things that I like about LeBron James in sports. It reinforces all the bad things that I don't like about LeBron James. And I love watching LeBron play, and I'm glad he's still playing, and I appreciate, the dedication he's had, his body, try to keep winning and all of that. But this isn't the part of it where I'm like, oh, this is so great. I'm like, oh, this is a little ick factor to me. No offense to Bronny. Yeah. He's just along for the ride. But it's ick factor on LeBron, and trying to just manipulate this entire world for his kid to just have him cut the line and give him this red carpet to starting in the NBA. It just feels really just phony.
You mean starting his career in the NBA, not starting on the court. But
who's to say?
You think he's going to start for the Lakers this year?
I don't know if he's going to start game one, but is there a game where Bronny starts? Because, again, where does this end? It's like LeBron wants him on the team. Then he doesn't want him playing in the G League. He wants the guaranteed contract. Now is he going to say how much playing time he gets? Now is he saying that he wants him, in these running these certain sets? I have no idea because LeBron's power here is completely unchecked.
I would say relax. This is a publicity stunt. We all know it. Let's get a nice little bounce pass in the third quarter of a meaningless game. He's not going to start on the Los Angeles Lakers. He's the fifth. Since when does a playoff team draft? He's the third from last pick in the draft, and all of a sudden he's going to be in the starting line. It's not going there. LeBron is not that naked about this.
This is as naked as it gets. Yesterday, Rich Paul, according to Bob Myers, who's the former Warriors GM, was on TV, said that Rich Paul was calling people saying, don't draft Bronny or else we're going to put him in Australia. I mean, come on. But nothing about this is on the up and up.
This started 6 months ago. I don't remember everybody being so up in arms Like, everyone knew it. This has been kind of careening towards Bronny going to the Lakers. It's been a fait accompli since February. Like, why all of a sudden does it feel so icky to you now compared to what was going on before?
I think it's because of the details that have come out since then. It wasn't just, I'd like this to happen. It's going to happen. And here's our demands on top of it, which
You knew it was going to happen.
No other second-round pick gets to say, I don't want to be in the G League. No other second-round pick doesn't get to say, I want a guaranteed contract. And again, I don't want to come off as sounding like a hater on this because it's not Bronny who's just, he's the innocent bystander, I almost feel like, in all of this. But then I'm getting the video yesterday of the deputy commissioner, Mark Tatum, calling his name and tears. I mean, I get it from Savannah. I get it. And again, I don't want to seem like a hater, but tears.
Wait, what are you talking about? Of course. Who was crying?
Bronny and Savannah.
Yeah, you would cry if you were drafted in the NBA?
The whole thing's a sham. You said it yourself. They've known this for months. They've been manipulating this. Really, we're going tears of joy here.
Well, let me ask you a question. But okay, whatever. It does now kind of sound like you're criticizing a teenager here. But besides that, who cares? If you're the Lakers GM, would you have done anything differently? And
Listen,
if you were Rich Paul, would you have done anything differently? If you were LeBron James, would you have done anything differently?
Yes, I would have if I were LeBron. And
Okay.
here's what I would have done if I were LeBron. If you really want to give, first of all, I would have tried to at least maybe look myself in the mirror and ask, is this better for my son or is this all about me? I would hope I would do that as a parent. But okay, let's say you're blinded by the fact that you want this for your kid and yourself. Definitely yourself. Get their foot in the door, that's one thing. Start making and manipulating this so it's like the kid's living in the Truman Show. That's another one. Like, at some point, you want to give your kid a leg up because you have all this power, fine. But to then say he's not going to be working out for other teams. If you draft him, I'm sending him to Australia. He needs to have this, that, and the other thing. That's where I feel like LeBron is erring here. I mean, you don't have to, metaphorically dunk the basketball. You already got him in the door. You don't also have to make sure that everything is absolutely perfect for him.
But what if things had gotten screwed up and someone else had picked them and they didn't get to play together? That wouldn't be, if you're LeBron, you can't let that happen.
That was never going to happen. It was never going to happen.
You don't think any team was looking at Bronny? You're crazy. You don't think anybody was like,
So you know what? If you really want the kid to stand on his own 2 feet or do this on merit, then let another team take him.
Well, that's, I think, what you're saying is he would have been better off with another team, let another team. But I understand why LeBron was like, you know what? We have this opportunity to play together. Let's make this happen. He's only been working on it for 6 years. I mean, we've known about this forever.
It is just maybe there was something just about the details of this coming out that just it makes it feel like a joke. And honestly, the Lakers already look a bit like a joke with the Dan Hurley, spurning them because they wouldn't meet the number, and then JJ Redick coming in with no experience. There's still no assistant coaching staff put in place, and now this, and now Bronny. 855-212-4227. Dan's in Rochester. Good morning, Dan.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
We're great. What's up?
So I think the NBA as a whole got this wrong. I mean, I have, traditionally players don't make it to the league the way Bronny did, but I'm not going to hate on that because I would do the same if I was a parent trying to make sure my kid is situated. And you hear it all the time. It's just, it happens. You just don't want to hear about it.
Right.
But why wouldn't a team like the Magic or, New Orleans, Charlotte, like you were saying, do this? Think of the publicity they would get, right? Even if the kid goes to Australia, right? Think of the media circus that's going to be. The reporters are always going to be asking Bron about his thoughts about Bronny and this and that. And I just think one of those small market teams really, really missed an opportunity to kind of transform their market because they would forever be a focal point in the league while he's playing. And I think I'm really surprised that nobody decided to kind of step up there and basically be like, look, if we get this kid, whether he plays or not, whether he's good or not, we're constantly going to be talked about. We're constantly going to be in the news cycle.
Yeah, right. Dan, it's interesting from a marketing standpoint and just a pure publicity standpoint, and thank you for the call. Some other team really could have gotten a lot of shine here if they would have got, if you're the Washington Wizards and you've got nothing going for you. I mean, you just had the second overall pick who nobody's heard of. Why not do this just for the headlines, Perloff? What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I think that was a real possibility. I would have done it if I didn't think I wouldn't want to screw up the whole story, but yeah, I think he's a very tempting project because I would think after 40, like most of these guys are never going to make the team, right?
Well, Bronny's going to. So
I'm looking at the other route. Like, let's see. There's a kid from Gonzaga who went 54. EJ's a Gonzaga fan, but I'm looking. Do you think that Ulrich Komche out of Cameroon, who went 57, is going to make the Grizzlies one day? Do you think Ariel Hukpati out of Germany is going to make the Mavs one day? Probably not. So why not? I like your idea to take a flyer on Bronny, but I think that's why Rich Paul had to be very careful about this.
I think this underscores even more how much power LeBron has, not just over the Lakers, but over the league, because he has a agency, right? But Rich Paul's working basically as a proxy for LeBron, and maybe they said, listen, we'll mess around with other clients. I know, don't make us mad, and we'll take it out on you in other ways, like if you're, by directing free agents to you or whatever. And again, you ask me this is not going to get out of control, but it could already be getting out of control because, again, when it comes to the playing time and shoehorning Bronny into an NBA game, the genie's out of the bottle here on this. LeBron can now ask for anything. You guys joked around about, is he going to be on the Olympic team? Keep joking.
I think you're going a little too far.
But would you agree with me that other teams
the Olympic team?
Okay, but would you agree with me that other teams didn't draft Bronny because they didn't want to make LeBron mad or clutch?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so it's already expanded
so you're saying
to outside
that's
the Lakers.
one step away from Bronny replacing Kawhi Leonard instead of Jalen Brunson?
I'm just saying, if the unchecked power of LeBron, where does it stop?
I mean, obviously, listen, this still is 1/100th the influence of Scott Boras on baseball, or even David Mulugeta on the NFL.
We don't like that. And we don't like that.
Oh, I don't. Actually, why? I think
Boras is annoying as an agent, and anyone who roots for a team hates when he has a client who's a star on your team.
Right, but we know that agents and players manipulate stuff all over the place. I mean, it's a business. Of course they do, and of course LeBron has a ton of power. He should have a ton of power. He's kind of like Michael Jordan as far as a singular athlete in the sport. I mean, wait till he goes away. What's going to happen to the NBA? That's a big problem. So this happens all the time, and I just think that it's much closer to normal than all of a sudden Bronny is going to be starting for the Lakers. And I think it's a minor thing. It's a cute little story, right? He's a 55th pick. He's going to be wearing the jersey. Maybe he'll go on his dad's shoulders at some point.
Oh my God.
What's the downside? I don't understand.
Picnic? Good
There's no
grief.
real downside here. I mean, the Lakers, you're right, have the real issues. I still can't believe they got Dalton Knecht at 17. That was nuts. But honestly, if you're a Lakers fan, Bronny's the last of your problems. Hey, are we going to figure out how to get Rui Hachimura more involved in the offense? You got a lot going on. Bronny is a nice little sideshow, right? What's the downside? How is this going to hurt the Lakers?
855-212-4227. EJ, do we have a poll up on Maggie and Pearl on X? What do we have?
Okay, so we asked the question, what do you think of the Lakers drafting Bronny James? Is it a feel-good story or it's a joke? 84.4% say it's a joke. 15.6% say it is a feel-good story.
You are welcome to weigh in. Again, 855-212-4227. Coming up, a little what if, what could have been. We're going to walk down memory lane in just a moment. Don't move. It's Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Exploring sports' biggest what-ifs and could-have-beens. Let's dive into the multiverse of Maggie and Perloff.
Wow. I love that intro. So last night after the NBA draft, ESPN showed the Orlando Magic documentary, 30 for 30. And one of the best parts was all the behind-the-scenes draft talk. And it always, anytime they have a camera in a front office or a former GM talks about what could have been, my ears immediately burn. Oh, we almost took this guy. There's nothing more interesting than what if the draft had gone in a different direction, and that's what we're doing today, Maggie.
Yep, so we're going to do the multiverse a little differently. Usually we do this on Thursdays about midway through the show. We're doing it today on Friday, a little bit different, and we're going to do multiple multiverses. Say that 10 times. EJ is going to float out a couple draft what could have beens, and Perloff and I will have a minute to tell you what we think life would have been like had these NBA draft, changes. I don't know what
Scenarios.
Scenarios. Thanks. I was just had a Joe
Alternate
Biden moment
timelines.
there. Alternate timelines. Yes. What would have happened? So let's start the clock. And EJ, give us our first multiverse of a draft. What could have been?
Okay, so let's go to 1979. The Los Angeles Lakers took Magic Johnson with the number 1 pick, but they got that pick because they won a coin flip with the Chicago Bulls. There was no lottery back then. They had the same record. They won a coin flip to get that pick. So I asked the question to you guys, what if the Bulls won the coin flip and they took Magic Johnson? 1 minute.
Wow. All right, can I go first?
Yeah, go
okay.
ahead.
First of all, because I watched Winning Time, the Lakers documentary, Jerry West at the time loved future Hall of Famer Sidney Moncrief. He wanted them at that moment to take him over Magic. So the Lakers get the number 2 pick. They take Sidney Moncrief, who's an awesome player, and they continue to win championships. Just not 5. They win 1 or 2, much like my 80s Sixers. But this opens it up for Dr. J to win 2 more titles, which is awesome. And then the Bulls become great under Magic Johnson, and they win a title too, and it just spreads the wealth.
Okay, in this scenario, I'm thinking that Magic and Michael are probably not teaming up, right? Because the Bulls probably would have been too good to get Michael Jordan and when they did in 1984. So I think that Magic still becomes a winner, but not right away. Because you still had the Pistons, your Philadelphia 76ers, you still had the Celtics that you were dealing with. So does Magic come right into the league and he won his rookie season and became, even bigger than he was at Michigan State? So I think he does win, but not right away. Flip side, Lakers, I think, still good, but not the full Showtime.
Yep.
Okay, so let's go to Michael Jordan, who was famously selected number 3 in the 1984 draft. We did earlier, the old school news school, talking about that draft.
Yep.
The number 2 pick was Sam Bowie, which ended up being a big mistake by the Portland Trailblazers.
Oh, you don't say.
What if the Portland Trailblazers made the correct pick and chose Michael Jordan, number 2?
Okay, so I'll go first on this one.
Please.
This is the Portland Trailblazers are now the dynasty of the 90s because I think you had Michael Jordan with Clyde Drexler, with Terry Porter, with Jerome Kersey, with Kevin Duckworth, with Drazen Petrovic coming off the bench. However you wanted to do this lineup, Perloff, I think they would have been the dynasty of the 90s. We're talking about Portland basketball as the gold standard. Now, my question is, would Michael Jordan still be considered the GOAT because he would have had to share so much of the offensive side of the ball with Clyde Drexler? I'm not sure, but maybe.
No, there's no way Clyde Drexler and Michael Jordan were working. This was 84 before either of them were in championship picture. They weren't even in, Drexler. What year did Drexler win? 96 or something? So it was a long time before they guys, and Jordan didn't win till the 90s either. I don't think it would have worked. I really don't. And now I'm not saying I would have drafted Sam Bowie. I would have traded Clyde Drexler and kept Jordan. I agree they would have been awesome. So the Bulls, in my scenario, get Charles Barkley instead of the Sixers. And he's an awesome Chicago player. He went 5. Now, there's a little Sam Perkins in there. Hopefully they went Barkley. But that would be fun.
We are doing the multiverse of Maggie and Perloff on a Friday. A little different. We usually do this on Thursdays. We're doing draft what could have beens. And we're going back through history. EJ, who's next?
Okay, let's fast forward to 1993, where the Orlando Magic got the number 1 pick in the draft again after getting Shaq just a year earlier. So they drafted Chris Webber. Chris Webber would never play for the Orlando Magic. He was traded in a draft day trade for Penny Hardaway. And, of course, Penny Hardaway and Shaq created this great dynamic duo while Chris Webber started in Golden State and moved around before he eventually became a superstar. What if the Magic decided to keep C-Webb and play with C-Webb and Shaq together in Orlando?
I think it would have worked. So I did watch the documentary last night. It did seem like they were closer to keeping C-Webb than I remembered. Basically, the Warriors, one of the teams threw a bunch of draft picks. Oh, yeah, the Warriors threw a bunch of draft picks to the Magic. C-Webb, it turns out, was not an inside player like Shaq. Shaq didn't want him. He was really upset that they drafted Webber. But C-Webb, as his career went out, was like a very versatile player, could handle the ball, could move outside. I think they would have been good. Now, would they win a title? Penny was a perfect fit. I give you that. But I think the Magic still would have been good. And then Penny, of course, would have been a superstar in Golden State.
Yeah, I think this definitely would have worked with Chris Webber. With Shaq being center and Chris Webber being that power forward. But You're right. He had a shot. I mean, Chris Webber in some ways would have been the perfect player now.
But back then, they didn't know that big guys could move outside at all, and they thought Weber was very duplicative of Shaq. So Shaq was like, don't draft this kid.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, here's the thing. I think this would have worked and it would have been great, but I don't know how many titles they're winning. You're still running into the Houston Rockets.
Yep.
You still would have eventually, you're dealing with Michael Jordan, who came back after baseball. So I don't think this would have, maybe it's a title, maybe one. It's not a dynasty. It's too much I don't think they would have been able to beat the Rockets.
I agree.
Let's go to 1996, where the New Jersey Nets were very interested in drafting one Lower Merion High School phenom, not Andrew Perloff, Kobe Bryant. But Kobe Bryant's agents told him that they would not send Kobe to New Jersey at the time. John Calipari was the head coach of the Nets. He was enamored with Kobe. His agent said, we will send him to Italy before we send him to New Jersey. So they called the Nets bluff. Of course, he ends up with the Lakers after a trade with the Hornets. What if the Nets called Kobe's bluff and drafted Kobe, and Kobe becomes a New Jersey Net?
Okay, so we actually have a little on this. Kobe, according to John Calipari, says he would have played for the Nets. Now, that's, a little revisionist history here, but I kind of believe Kobe. I think that he was a loyal guy in that way. Not loyal to Shaq, obviously. He got him run out of town after 3 titles, but you know what I mean. I think he would have either stayed with the Nets his whole career or played with a combination of maybe the Nets and the 76ers, who would have just been right there, and maybe he goes home. I think eventually Kobe playing with Jason Kidd and Kenyon Martin. I mean, they went to finals. They may have won. And I think Calipari is now known as this great NBA coach who never goes back to college to coach Kentucky or Memphis.
The timeline might have been tough because you needed to remember Kobe wasn't good at first. Remember the air balls in the playoffs? So he would have had to move fast. I'm not sure I buy all that. And also, he would have never played for the Sixers. He didn't seem like he wanted to go there. I don't know why. I still think I'm not so sure that he happily stays in New Jersey. He seemed to really want to get to L.A., either Clippers or the Lakers. So I think it's a little more combustible.
Here's the question on this. Who else would Shaq have teamed up with, though? If Shaq was in L.A. and Kobe's in New Jersey with the Nets, who is that other superstar? Because let's be honest, Shaq was like unstoppable in those finals. And that team was great. I just don't know. I don't know who that other star is.
What do you mean,
Terry
like
Kittles? I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah. So you're saying like Allen Iverson or Vince Carter would have got out to L.A. so they get another wing star?
Yes. Who would have been the Robin to Shaq's Batman?
Well, eventually Vince Carter and McGrady wanted out of Toronto. Maybe one of those guys. How about Tracy McGrady? I don't know how you get that going, but that'd be a team to watch.
That would have been a lot of fun. Okay, last one here. We're going to fast forward to 2003, another one we did in our old school, new school. So Carmelo Anthony was drafted number 3 by the Denver Nuggets. He, of course, again, similar to Jordan, massive mistake by the number 2 team, the Detroit Pistons, who were defending, went on to win the NBA championship in Melo's first year, but did not draft him. Of course, they took Darko Milicic. So what if the Pistons made the right decision and drafted Melo number 2 in the draft?
Wait. I misunderstood this whole thing. Why would they take Melo? If we're upside, why don't we give him D Wade?
No one's taking D Wade number 2. I'm dealing in some reality from that time
come
period.
on. He went number 4. You got to give him. If they get D Wade, they're a dynasty.
He went 5, I think. But
5. Melo. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna go. Then Detroit never wins a title. They get worse.
Really? Wow.
Melo would have sunk that great team so badly because Melo would have ball hogged and not played defense.
But he would have been a rookie. I think Detroit's definitely still winning that title in 2004. And on top of that, I think that Melo is now thought of as the ultimate winner. Because how many guys really win a championship in college where you get all the credit for that championship? No disrespect, Jim Boeheim, Hakeem Wark, and
Jerry
whatever.
McNamara is rolling over. Yeah, he's upset right now.
Yeah, still an assistant coach, right? So I think he would have been known as this ultimate winner. Like everything he touches kind of like turns to gold here, whether he would have deserved that or not. College, he definitely deserved it because he was incredible in that title. And then he would go straight to the NBA and all of a sudden he's winning. Like it would have looked like Melo's the missing piece on everything.
He would have killed that team. I'm being dead serious.
As a rookie,
first of all,
how could he kill them?
He came in the league and shot it 100 times a game immediately.
I know, but the Pistons were almost set up perfectly to make sure that wouldn't have happened.
He would have gotten Rip Hamilton off the court. Melo was ready to go. He scored 21 points his rookie year. Shooting 42%, I might add. I think he would have been the worst fit. I thought we were doing Wade to the Pistons.
Well, why would we do that?
Yeah.
Because they would have been awesome. They would have, because it's multiverse. We would have had a new dynasty.
Apparently, it was Joe Dumars to convince Larry Brown to not take Melo. Larry Brown wanted Melo, and Joe Dumars saw this workout. So I went with the conversation
They were
was
the top two guys.
Yeah.
They were the top two guys. I mean, yeah, Dwayne Wade, they got to what? The Final Four with Marquette, but Melo won the title.
I mean, someone drafted Bosch ahead of him, and Bosch didn't win anything at Georgia Tech.
That's true.
No, I'm well aware. I just thought, it's a multiverse. We can do whatever we want here.
Well,
that
if we
would
were
have been
doing
a
the
great
real
pick.
multiverse, don't you actually send Michael Jordan to the Rockets? We
Yes.
sent Michael Jordan to the
That's true.
Portland
That's true.
Trailblazers. If we were really saying how that draft should have went, we should have sent Michael Jordan to the Rockets over Hakeem.
Maybe.
I mean,
Hakeem was pretty darn
No, he
good
was amazing,
off the
but-
bat. Made a finals in his rookie year, right? Or second year.
okay, but here's the thing. If you're asking who was the prize from the 84 draft, Hakeem is great, but Jordan was the prize. So that was a little of the multiverse. We do that usually on Thursdays, a sports what if and what could have been. And there were so many for the NBA draft that we decided to sort of condense them all into one.
The only big difference I noticed, and I know that you guys definitely view Carmelo Anthony as a different player than I do. Like, oh man, that's a lot of opportunity cost. All those shots he's jacking up. Just saying.
My question: I know he did not work out well with Larry Brown on Team USA, but don't you think him going with Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace, Rip Hamilton, Chauncey Billups, I mean, they had great leaders on that team. Do you think that doesn't change who he is as a leader early in his career? Like, I don't like he went to Denver, and like I think you're disrespecting him a little bit because he went to Denver and they were a loser, and they went to the playoffs in his rookie year. So it wasn't like he went there and he screwed everything up.
Right, but having him on the court means there's less Tayshaun, less Rip. I don't know. I'm just saying, you guys know what I mean. He doesn't feel like that team at all. He feels like the exact opposite. I'm more of an offensive player. That was the great defensive team, really, of our last 20 years, in my mind, because Ben Wallace and Rasheed and all those guys. And Tayshaun. Oh, man. Anyway, I just think Carmelo, I wonder, like, he's designed not to win a title. Like, he was a scorer first. He reminds me of Mark Aguirre back from the 80s. So that's the interesting one about him.
But did Mark Aguirre win a title?
Mark Aguirre won a title with the Pistons.
Yeah, he won a title
He went
with them.
to a defensive team.
He didn't win with the Mavericks.
Bought
but-
in.
Yeah.
And I know
okay.
Isaiah
Sorry,
was
I should
friend.
have gone Adrian Daly. Whatever. You guys know what I meant. Like the guy in the NBA who scored 27 points, like Alex English. That style of player. You guys all know what I mean. Like the big, like Carmelo Anthony, the high volume shooter. Yeah, Luka's so much better. Does so many more different things. I mean, like Luka averages a triple double. Did Carmelo ever do that?
No, I just think we pick and choose who we like as scorers and who we don't.
Well,
it's
it's changed. I have to admit, when I was a kid, there were guys who all they did was score, like Alex English, Adrian Dantley. They could put up 28 points a game, but everyone knew they weren't going to win. Kelly Tripucka was one of those guys. Now, so Carmelo to me is of that genre of player.
But I would argue, though, is it because those guys who shot too much? It was because they were playing Magic Johnson in the dynasty Lakers. Like, that's what I would, or that's my only pushback. Is Alex English was a great player. He ran into Magic Johnson, Kareem, and Michael Cooper in a dynasty. Like, is it his fault they lost? Is it Melo's fault? He couldn't beat Kobe and Shaq, or Kobe and Pau Gasol. Like, that's the question I would have.
We've never done the Melo multiverse of what if he had just stayed in Denver, because they did get to a Western Conference final. But I think the part of it that clouds Melo for a lot of people is he forced his way to the Knicks. Then that team, those combinations of teams were just so, not only were they not great, it was not likable. I mean, Amari Stoudemire was likable, but then he had the detached retina. Jeremy Lin, he got run out of town. People didn't like that. And it was just, there was, Raymond Felton.
They had 1 year, and
they won one playoff game.
Roy Hibbert punched to Melo's shot at the rim, and that was the end.
Sorry, they won one playoff series, yes.
Yeah, one playoff series.
Carmelo seems like an awesome guy, by the way. He seems super fun.
His
came
podcast seems funny.
in DP show twice, and there could not have been a nicer person to everybody. But
he is extremely charming person.
Yeah, but
a lot of riz.
He's just a shoot first kind of three guy. I think that's that's a wrap on him that he's not. He misses that championship ingredient. I think that. I mean, listen, he's super fun. He scored 1 million points, but he couldn't be the one on a championship team. But I do like this. This multiverse is really interesting because I know Darko is like the most famous. That's like the Sam Bowie of the 2000s, right? Like,
have you seen a picture of that guy in the last couple of years? The Darko picture.
Heavier, I believe, right?
He's massive.
Yeah.
He looks like Andre the Giant, and he is a farmer in like Serbia or something. right?
But I think the reason that they took him is because Dirk fell in the draft in '98 or whatever. And everyone's like, we're not going to let that guy fall again. And I think Darko was the new Dirk.
This is a story of this historic workout, similar to the workout Kobe had with the Lakers. When Chauncey Billups told the story, he was like, "I was there. I sat in the booth and I watched this workout, and he looked like Dirk Nowitzki." And I said, "You know what? I wanted Melo, but I watched this, and I was like, how can I defend them? How can I defend Melo right now? I've never seen anything like this." And in one practice, they were like, "Oh no!"
Yeah. But did every NBA team in the 2000s draft a Eastern European in the top 5? And
doesn't have to be Eastern. Andrea Bargnani went number 1.
Oh right. For some reason I consider him Eastern European, but you're right. He's Italian. Sorry, European.
855-212-4227. So that's the multiverse of Maggie and Perloff. Little taste. Some draft what ifs. We also have a poll question out there for you at Maggie and Pearl on X. What do you think of the Lakers drafting Bronny James? Is it a feel-good story? Is it a joke? You can go there and vote. Andrew Bogusch has headlines.
Hello again. So if putting tuna, mayo, and olives into Jell-O was yesterday's worst decision, this was number 2. U.S. Soccer's Tim Weah smacking opponent in the head and getting ejected just 18 minutes into yesterday's Copa America match with Panama in Atlanta. Teammates did rally to take a 1-0 lead, but playing with just 10 men for 70-plus minutes eventually took its toll.
Maria lobs it up in the air. Robinson got to be careful. It's knocked away by Ayarza. Hooks it back in the middle. It's in. Panama score. The pressure finally breaks through. And it's Jose Fajardo that's given Panama the lead with 7 minutes to go.
That's John Strong on Fox. Panama rallying for the 2-1 win. Tyler Adams on Weah's game-changing mistake.
You never mean to get a red card under no circumstances. He's not that type of person. He apologized to the team, and again, just respect to the rest of the team because they fought for every single ball, every single duel, every single minute, and we still created chances after going down to 10 men, so it shows our quality. So again, all to play for in the last game.
Which is Monday night in KC against Uruguay, the best team in this group. The U.S. and Panama now each have 3 points. It'll likely take upsetting Uruguay for the Americans to advance. Fox analyst Lexi Lawless said post-game yesterday, head coach Greg Berhalter would likely lose his job if the squad does not reach the knockout stage. A 4-game win streak, now a 2-game skid for Caitlin Clark and the Fever. 89-77 losers in Seattle last night. Clark scored 15, then tried to do some leading postgame.
Being able to find that competitive edge at the same time as staying positive is a hard thing at times, but I think we can definitely do a little bit better and continue to just motivate one another because, sometimes you're going to have good games, you're going to have bad games, but it's a team sport. You got to find a way to lean on your teammates and, stay connected. And I think we can do a little bit better job of that.
The Fever 7-12 overall. They've got 2 games left on this 5-game trip in Phoenix Sunday, then Vegas on Tuesday. The Kansas City Royals a little closer to the Guardians in the AL Central. They're taking the opener of their 4-game set last night 2-1. Cleveland's lead is now 8 games. The Orioles went deep 4 times in an 11-2 rout of the Rangers. And the Phillies blew an early 3-0 lead, losing to the Marlins 7-4, and they lose Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber to injuries. Harper grabbing at his left hamstring after being thrown out at first to end the game.
Uh-oh. I already have JT Realmuto on the IL, too.
Spencer Turnbull's out for 2 months.
Are the
Phillies Mets?
The Phillies still have the best record in baseball? Them and the Guardians are going back and forth.
Yeah, I don't know who has the best right now.
I believe it was the midway point last night of the season, and they have the best record.
Yeah, they have a cushion here, but... Man, if the Mets catch the Phillies, by the way, both of them are going to get caught by the Braves. I know the Braves are terrible. Watch them get red hot. Baseball is tough. It's a tough sport. It's a long season and guys get hurt. I hate it. I hate it.
Somebody's coping.
Bronny James, not the only second-round pick yesterday. Marquette point guard Tyler Kolek is going to the Knicks. The Pacers picked Kansas shooter Johnny Furphy, and a different Jets QB is in the news at the moment. Aaron Rodgers' backup, Tyrod Taylor, being sued over a house in the L.A. area. Taylor's What does that mean?
Can we have a backup quarterback that doesn't have a problem? Enough.
Wait, do you know what this story is?
Well, either way.
He doesn't need details to be angry.
He could be winning 4 houses. Doesn't matter. The whole thing is, can we have no controversy with the backup quarterback? You got Zach Wilson sleeping with mothers. I mean, enough. Just someone
Just
that has
random
nothing
mothers.
attached to him.
Just any mother out there. Zach Wilson wants to take you out.
That's actually the one good thing about Zach Wilson.
I'm just saying.
It was his one skill.
I love sleeping with mothers. Like he shows up at a PTA meeting. He's just
Yeah.
like, ladies.
Maybe.
Oh, Dad.
We're not saying he didn't show up at PJ meetings.
Just want no controversy with a backup quarterback.
Right. Well,
Please.
for
We have
those of you
enough starting quarterback.
For those of you that need the details, Taylor's ex-girlfriend, model Drea Michelle, says Taylor bought a home in August 2022, let her and her kids move in. She said they had a verbal agreement that would allow her to eventually buy the property from Taylor. In January of this year, they agreed on a price, but now Taylor will not sell her the house, is threatening to evict her, and she would lose, on top of all that, thousands of dollars of her own money that she put into renovations at the property.
Yeah, and her kids, too,
Right.
will also be out on the street. Now, I read this story. I'm like, well, this seems like a crappy situation between people are breaking up. It was a verbal agreement. I didn't know the second part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
That this woman who's a model, Drea Michelle, she's 39. She's dating Jalen Green from the Houston Rockets. He's 22.
Mm-hmm. They just had a kid.
And they had a kid.
And are we assuming this is why Tyrod Taylor's possibly being a jerk?
I think that is the dots that are being connected as to what went wrong with this arrangement.
Well,
And
they
now
were
you
broken up.
Right, but
So it's not like she was stepping out on Tyrod Taylor. They were already broken up, but
maybe they weren't broken up in Tyrod Taylor's head, though. I mean, that happens, unfortunately, too much where people think, I'm going to get her back, and then here comes Jalen Green, 22 years old.
17-year difference right there. Reverse
nothing.
Belichick.
This is what is going on?
I didn't need the details.
Oh, sorry. Are you still upset?
Now Pete really didn't want to hear the details.
Really?
You slap at the table.
But
I mean,
Pete,
this
how is that
literally
gonna
has
affect
no
the
effect
Jets?
on anything.
Yeah.
Because
Who
you
cares?
know Aaron Rodgers is going to go on another retreat or something's going to happen with him, and we're going to need him to start at least a couple games.
He's not going to be in jail.
Yeah.
Well, no, but he's not going to. Something's going to happen.
He's not
Aaron
going to be
Rodgers.
at court.
Aaron Rodgers is going to start every game for the Jets.
Nobody's arguing with that, but why can't Tyrod Taylor be a backup quarterback?
Well, no, but he has all this stuff now. He's dealing with
Carl.
with no contracts, with people sleeping with other people, losing houses, not giving houses away, not renovating houses, not letting them move in.
Not renovating houses.
Wait,
Was that
would
part of the story?
Would you rather it be Zach Wilson sleeping with mothers, as you say?
No,
or
well, Zach Wilson's terrible. that's the other thing. At least
Tyrod Taylor can throw the ball.
At least Tyrod Taylor can manage a game.
Yeah.
But come on.
Why'd they get rid of Mike White? I never understood that.
Mike White was
He too
paid
good?
more, I thought, by
He got paid pretty
the
well by
Dolphins.
Miami.
Right.
Yeah, why did they just match that?
Because they're a bunch of idiots.
I think it was a Joe Flacco, Deshaun Watson situation. I think they were worried about the backup outshining
Yeah, I
Mike
wondered
F.
that.
White. I
And
mean, he was very popular in the locker room.
And Aaron Rodgers wanted his little buddy Zach Wilson to be his squire. As we said earlier.
project.
said earlier, he really was like the squire to Bronny and LeBron.
Well, and he brought, what's his name, too, from Green Bay, didn't he?
Yeah, Boyle.
Tim
Not Pat
Boyle?
Boyle, Tim
Right.
Boyle.
Yeah, who actually got on the field. And this is why, whether it's nepotism or friends doing favors for friends, it is not a good idea.
Yeah, meanwhile, the Jets shoved Joe Flacco down our throats for a number of times, and then they let him go, and then he goes and does something with someone else. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, what's the common problem here? It ain't Joe Flacco. It ain't Zach Wilson. It
The
ain't Tim
New York
Boyle.
Jets. That's the common problem.
Yeah.
At some
Back to
point, you might assess the amount of emotion you just wasted on Tyrod Taylor's housing
Well, because
situation.
it's important.
It's not.
It's important.
It's not.
We
Yes,
got
it
the
is.
line sleeping with mothers out of it.
Yeah.
It's just so good.
Do you know how many guys all these people are involved with romantically? Pete, that has no impact.
Well, not all of them go to lawsuits.
Yeah,
That's-
come on, they're in court now.
I don't
It's
know.
not like it's happening on the side here, and
he will not miss a single practice, workout, or game
better
because
not.
of it. He's not.
There's only one quarterback who can miss practices in
Yep.
game.
That's right.
Tyrod Taylor feels like he's been around for about 400 years now. Like, that dude doesn't even need to practice. You just throw him into a game, right? Like,
And yet he's
how
still
many
too
te-
young for Jordan Hudson.
Is there any team he hasn't been? How many teams has he been on? It
He's
feels
been
like
on all the New York teams, including the
Yeah.
teams that
Dude.
play in New Jersey.
He was like at one point, like kind of the pseudo savior for the Bills.
I know.
Right.
Is
And
it-
then, Nathan Peterman came in and screwed everything up.
And by the way, anything that happens to him, the fact that he almost got killed 2 hours before a football game in
Right,
week
it's like
one
the
in charge.
fourth most
That's like the
interesting thing
ultimate.
about him.
Yeah. That's the ultimate story about him. I mean, this court case is gonna be okay. I mean, the guy. Yeah, that is still. I know you are fascinated with that Chargers doctor story.
I don't understand how they still have the same staff. They can't, right?
I don't know.
I know they kept that person like another season.
Yeah, I think they kept that person for a
Right,
while.
it was an injection into the ribs that went too close to the heart or something?
Into
or
his
to the
lungs.
Punctured his lung.
Collapsed lung.
Yeah, let's keep that guy around.
I don't think they got rid of him right away.
That's horrible.
He's now the Jets doctor, I believe.
Honestly,
Probably my doctor.
You should be more angry, Pete.
Amazing. Bogusch, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Okay, coming up, we've got a weird story for you, and we're going to admit at the very beginning that this story is very odd. It has to do with a Duke Blue Devil, former Duke Blue Devil, and why they may have fallen in the draft. This one is weird. We'll tell you about it next.
Singing sonnets to Tom Clemente. Pray. Peter Bellotti loves Wendy's bacon treats. He dances with joy every time he eats. Crispy strips of happiness, that's no lie. Peters and bacon, heaven reaching for the sky. Wendy's bacon makes Peter so glad. One bite, he's the happiest lad. Crispy, crunchy, bacon delight. Beers in bliss, morning, noon, and night. He orders a snack, can't get enough. Wendy's bacon is his favorite stuff. Each crunchy bite brings a smile so wide. Peter's pure joy he can't hide. Wendy's bacon makes Peter so glad. One bite, he's the happiest lad. Crispy, crunchy, bacon delight. Peter's in bliss, morning, noon, and night. Oh, oh, oh. So if you see Peter with a grin so wide, you know Wendy's bacon is the reason why. Peter Bellotti loves Wendy's bacon treats. He dances with joy every time he eats.
Peter Bellotti, a sharp-dressed guy, spied a smile from a Russian spy. She had eyes like sapphires, lips so sweet. Peter's heart skipped a beat. Oh, what a treat! Oh, Peter, Peter, what have you done? You fell for a honey pot. Now you're on the run. With her Russian charm and her sweet disguise, she caught you in her web of lies. She whispered secrets, oh so sly. Peter believed her, what a gullible guy. Dinner dates, dancing under the moon. He didn't see the trap coming soon. Oh, Peter, Peter, what have you done?
Oh, Pete Belotti's got a brand new shirt. It's purple and snazzy, ain't no dirt. Got it from his kids on Father's Day. Now he wears it in a proud peacock way. Purple shirt, oh, Pete looks so fine. Every time he wears it, oh, how he shines. Walking down the street, he's a dashing sight. In the purple shirt, everything's alright. It's not just a shirt, it's a royal robe. Strung around the town, across the globe. Mirror, mirror
muffin deal. You don't just get breakfast, you get a proper meal. Get your choice of a sausage or bacon, egg and cheese English muffin sandwich with small seasoned potatoes. Grab yours today. Terms apply. The NASCAR Cup Series heads to Nashville Super Speedway. Christopher Bell made his case last weekend with a win in New Hampshire. Bell now shares the lead in wins with Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, and William Byron. Now, we have also a big event this weekend.
Yeah, we do.
I'm getting a little nervous for a couple reasons. I have several lower body injuries. I have a sprained MCL, and now all of a sudden my Achilles is bothering me, which is terrifying. I feel like I might be Kevin Durant in 2019.
Wait a minute. Are you trying to get out of this?
I'm desperately trying to get out of this. But I'm not going to do that because I'm a man of my word. I show up. There is a new team mandate. We have to wear red. And I had an idea.
Wait, you have to tell people what we're doing.
Oh, sorry. Yes. We have a celebrity kickball tournament that is sponsored by Buffalo Bills left tackle Deion Dawkins.
Yep.
It should be awesome. I don't know how many professional athletes there will be. Our team will have none. That is for certain. But we have to wear red. I have several red Phillies jerseys. Should we go as the Infinity Sports Network Phillies?
You're out of your mind.
Absolutely not. There's no way that we're putting on Philly stuff.
I have 2 Harper jerseys.
No.
Ugh.
I'm sorry. Was there not a Chase Utley jersey available? No shot we're wearing any of that stuff.
Are you crazy?
No, but so our team color is red. I don't have a lot of red stuff. I was just going to wear a Bills thing. Don't you have to? It's Deion Dawkins' celebrity kickball event.
Like an alternate uniform, Bills? You can't just wear blue. We're red.
What? Yeah.
But it's got red on it.
Oh, come on, Maggie.
You can't. You're going to wear a Bills jersey?
This is like that whenever we would do field day in school and your team would be yellow and you had the one kid that, shows up in a green shirt. You're like, come on, dude. We're trying to make this thing fun.
It's got red on it.
I wish you put this as a poll.
I'm not wearing a Phillies thing. I don't have a lot of red because, quite frankly, not my color. So I don't really purchase a lot of red stuff.
Just at outside. Why don't you make it about the team instead of yourself on Saturday?
Well, because this is all ridiculous, and I'm probably going to end up subbing in my husband pretty quickly, which would be better for everybody.
I can't run the bases either. I'm not. First of all, every time I play softball, it's like a major injury. So somebody's going to have to sub in for me. Do we know the rules? If I have a pinch runner, can I come back in the game?
I don't know. A kickball?
I don't know. This is like baseball rules. If you pinch running for you, then you're done.
That's fine.
And we already have problems because our captain leader, Zach Gel's been begging for another person to join us. So
did we find a last person?
I assume we did because I haven't heard anything more about it, but
yeah.
I'd have to talk to him about it.
Man.
Well, here's the other problem, too. I would be thrilled if it was baseball rules and I could pinch run and go home, but I don't have the car, so I'm getting a ride, so I have to wait for the whole team.
Yeah, you might as well give max effort because, listen.
If I be back, I honestly feel like I'm KD in the 2019 NBA playoffs, and I'm going to blow out this darn Achilles. I'm very panicky about this.
Do we have time for the Kyle Filipowski story?
A little late on
I know. I did tease it, though. I did want to pay it off. Kyle Filipowski of Duke, obviously, was selected 32 overall by the Jazz yesterday. Now, that's not exactly the story. The story is that Filipowski has some people claiming to be family members who have taken to social media, who have expressed some dismay over his girlfriend. And the fact that his girlfriend is significantly older than him, Perloff, and perhaps, maybe driving a bit of a wedge between him and his family, that detail made him drop in the draft. Are you buying that at all?
Not at all. I mean, Kyle Filipowski, to me, I watched him at Duke, was not a great future pro. He was I don't know, this guy's he was a bit of a stiff. No?
He could shoot.
Yeah, I don't know
I
about
don't
that.
know. Like, how was he quite the disappointment at Duke in my mind? Like, because he came in as the truth. And then by the end, it just didn't feel like he was as effective as we'd been promised.
So it's not like one of these things. This is not a Bill Belichick situation where someone's significantly older than their girlfriend. She is 26 while he turns 21 later this year. Another detail, allegedly, she was the former babysitter.
Yeah, and it's interesting to me, she's like a 10 too, which is a weird twist on this.
How pretty she is.
She looks like a model.
That's a good shocking to you.
Well, that's a good babysitter. My babysitter didn't look like that.
Oh, that's what this is about. Okay, lots more to do, including the Warriors on the verge of making a big move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining.
Crew. Quarterback sucking a secret told anew. Aaron Rodgers leading chance in a pyramid hat, claiming he's found the truth, and it's just that. Oh, what a scene. QQB's lost in ancient dreams. Mysteries of universe spread out on the field. It's less about the passes, more what the stars yield. Straight out of a show, eviction tales and lawsuits, oh the woe. Filipowski wonders, is this real life, or just another episode of quarterback strife? Yield. From alien landings on the 50-yard line to hidden messages in the game time sign, Filipowski's seen it all, from the resort to the divine. In the world of the Jets, it's a thin sanity line. Filipowski, oh what a scene. Your QB's lost in ancient dreams. Mysteries of the universe spread out on the field. It's less about the passes, less about the first stars yield.
45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Well, the Lakers have drafted Bronny James, Perloff, a little bit up the highway. The Golden State Warriors are looking to make some big moves. Good morning, by the way. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. So glad to have you. We'll get back to Bronny James and the Lakers and whether this is a heartwarming story or whether you think this is a flat-out joke. But we do want to pause on the Warriors for a second, Pearl, because they have emerged as a potential landing spot and maybe trade partner with the LA Clippers for Paul George. Now, a lot of things would have to happen. This is not going to be an easy fit. You would essentially need Paul George to opt into his contract. Opt in.
Right, with the Clippers.
With the Clippers.
Right.
Then you'd have to, the Clippers and the Warriors are going to have to want to trade with each other. So these are two teams that have a lot of history and a lot of postseason history. You'd have to put that aside to try to trade. There's first aprons and second aprons that we won't bore you with. But long story short, it's not impossible. It would take some major hoops. Let's just talk about the end result. Do you think Paul George would get the Warriors closer to a title?
No. I think this would be a terrible idea. It's a 4-year max deal. Oh, my God. What has happened to the Warriors? I thought they were the smartest franchise. It feels like they are getting away from an NBA title, not closer, because I think Paul George is going to be one of the worst contracts in NBA history.
Okay, you might think that, but I get the logic here, and here's why.
What?
So you have Steph Curry, and Steph Curry is now in his mid-30s, yet he's, knock on wood, like holding up very well. And the shot's not going to leave. So Steph Curry, the end of his career, however long that's going to be, has to be maximized. You really cannot spend time messing around on the margins, messing around with whatever's going to happen with Klay Thompson. This has got to be the definition of the win now team. And I don't really care about 4 years from now, to be honest. If I'm doing this Paul George thing, I care about next year and the year after, probably the last 2 years of Steph Curry's prime. So don't think about 4 years because everyone at some point has to deal with bad contracts at the end. Think about what Paul George can give you in the first 2 years of this contract and tell me if that changes your mind.
Not at all. I do like your logic. 1 year, and you're just eating 2 bad years.
Yeah,
of that.
I mean, come on. You got to maximize Steph here.
Paul George on the Clippers scared nobody in the West. Paul George on the Warriors scares nobody. I don't think anyone's scared of that team. First of all, how are they going to play with the front courts of Denver, Minnesota, and Dallas in the first place, and even the Lakers? I just feel like they're this small, old team that I don't even understand, like, what's their goal? Like, how are they built? Like, how is this going to work? Draymond and Curry are going to start falling off a little bit here. Paul George is definitely going to start falling off. I feel like this is like the geriatric team. I don't understand how this team could possibly get out of the West with all those young athletes everywhere.
Well, I think you could do it. I think especially with, I think we've gone a little too far off the edge with Paul George. Like, I get it that he's not as young as you'd like him to be. And I think that the fact that he might be looking for a max deal, he's still a great player right now. Yeah,
no.
He still is.
Was he a great player last year? Was he really a huge factor?
Yes, I think he was. I just think that the Clippers, they ran into the Mavericks, right? They lost to the Mavs. Mavs obviously made the finals.
Kawhi got hurt.
Kawhi got hurt. I mean, Kawhi was awesome. But I got to tell you, here's the thing. I don't think Paul George can be – Paul George was awesome because he was a great offensive player who was just a monster on defense, too. He's got, like in the draft, a gigantic wingspan. I just don't think he's ever going to be that player again. Like, I don't see him as an elite player anymore.
Did he make one of the All-NBA teams? Am I crazy? Maybe not. I thought Paul George actually was not bad this year, and I understand.
He's definitely not bad, but he's definitely not prime Paul George.
Okay, well, let's look at it from the Warriors' point of view. Right? So you need to do something.
Right.
As they said in the chat, who said this? I want to give them credit that, Delta, Draymond's already fallen off. I mean, you owe it to Steph. Don't make this the end of Kobe, right? Where you just have a great player who will put butts in the seats, but you have no real shot of winning anything. Don't do that. Don't do that to Steph Curry. Don't do that to us. Let us try to see if Steph Curry can win a 5th title, because 5th title for Curry, I mean, let's think about it. How much does that change his, legacy conversation, where he is in terms of an all-time great player? Like, the Warriors have to do this. Steve Kerr is coming back for a reason. I thought last year was going to be the last season for Kerr. Clearly, I was wrong about that. I was getting Last Dance vibes. I misread the situation. But What's Steve Kerr hanging around for? To like develop Jonathan Kuminga? They've done that. They're doing that. You need an all-in move here. If any team does, even more than your Philadelphia 76ers, I think that the Warriors need the all-in move big time. And Paul George is the best guy available for that now.
Yeah, that's not good. If that's their all-in move, I'm telling you, it's not going to work. They're a perimeter-oriented team. Obviously, they don't have a big man at all. They have Draymond, who's 6'5". That's a big problem. But also on the wings, like they're old and slow, even with Clay or Paul George. Like they're really not the dominant wing team anymore. I don't see this working. I don't see them as a top 5 team in the West. With Paul George, maybe a 4 or 5 seed, right? I mean, look at who they're playing against. Like,
well, I got to say, a 5 seed made it to the finals this year from the West.
Yes, but that's a good point. But after the trade deadline, the Mavs were not a 5 seed. I honestly, this Golden State team, like, how are they going to hang with Anthony Edwards, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic? Like, Paul George isn't the answer to all that. They need somebody who really complements Curry and is way different, and somebody who gives them a huge jolt. I'm sorry I'm being ageist here. I just don't think a 35-year-old Paul George is going to do that. Kawhi, by the way, if they could get their hands on Kawhi, that's a different story.
See, Kawhi I don't trust, though, because...
But Kawhi's like a better player, though. He's a dominant sort of game changer. To me, Paul George is not that guy.
Yeah, but if I'm betting on health of either of these two guys, which I don't love that bet.
Go with it. Kawhi's a terrible bet on that.
Yeah, I'm actually just going to get it from the table at that point. I'm not going to keep betting, but I'd actually give the slight nod to Paul George at 855-212-4227. Slight, I said. Slight nod to Paul George. And again, you can't look at the 4 years of this. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're going to make yourself aggravated.
You know who else?
Look at 2 years of Paul George.
You know who else I would have liked, and I understand, I don't think they're headed in that. Jimmy Butler, then you're talking to me. Like, there's a reason Paul George has not won an NBA title. He's not that kind of player. He's not an A. Jimmy Butler, closer. Kawhi, closer. LeBron, closer. Paul George is not doing it for me.
Okay, can we just envision a locker room where Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler coexist?
They're both 100 years old. They'll be fine. Like
what?
That doesn't leave you.
No, come on. Those guys.
I'm watching Biden and Trump, insult each other over their golf game. Like, they're both ridiculous last night. That was insane. Now you think Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler are just going to stop being who they are because they play in the same locker room? That would be combustible.
I don't know, though, but you said you have to go all in and take a risk, and Jimmy Butler can work doesn't he have does he give the team a few months before he starts acting like Jimmy Butler?
I don't think so. I think he'd burn that thing to the ground. I don't think that he and Draymond could coexist.
I definitely think they could.
Paul George is a much easier fit personality-wise.
Yeah, but Jimmy Butler's a much better. I 100% think Jimmy Butler would go to Golden State and him and Draymond would be fine because both those guys, everybody here wants a ring. They don't have any time. There's no time for petty golf fights like there is at a presidential debate.
Yeah, I know.
This is do or die. My only difference is, like, do you really see Paul George like as the game changer for the Warriors? His skill set is not exactly what they need right now. They need a lot. They need to get younger. They need to get more athletic. They need to really support Steph Curry, and Paul George is not younger.
Okay, but a younger player, it might not be that win now mentality. How young are you getting? Do you have time to bring somebody along? They just did this, and again, Kuminga, it's working out. But again, you cannot waste any more years of Steph Curry. Jimmy Butler's interesting, but he also said he wants to stay in Miami for another year.
He's also old too,
and injury prone.
Yeah, I know, but
he couldn't make it through the playoffs last year.
Definitely. I just think he's a better player than Paul George.
My question, though, from a basketball standpoint, I also think that there'd be a problem with him and Draymond, but Pearl, we talk about how much the Warriors be able to move the ball, shoot the threes, play a very free-flowing kind of game. Jimmy Butler doesn't like taking threes. He usually tries to avoid them like the play. He took a little more this year. Do you think he's a basketball fit, considering his style of play?
I mean, aren't there rumors that the Warriors were sniffing around? I mean,
there's rumors that I'm just asking you.
No, I totally understand what you're saying. Jimmy's not been a 3-point guy. He's not Clay. Yeah, for some reason, I think they need just somebody who's going to be a little more relentless. Paul George, you know how Paul George plays. Like, he is not. If it's crunch time in a playoff game, do you really trust that he's going to be there? Because he's kind of been a different player lately.
Well, playoff P. I mean, he got the name.
I was at a Clippers game Clippers Knicks, and you can see it's just like Kawhi was such a factor. The defense was following him around. He was a major problem. For some reason, Paul George doesn't feel like a threat to me anymore.
EJ, why don't we poll question this one? Paul George on the Warriors, does it get him closer to a title or further away? 855-212-4227. Adrian is our pal, holding it down to Maryland. What's up, Adrian?
Hey, guys. Good morning. Maggie, I'm 100% with you. Kawhi, not Kawhi, but Paul George, he's an upgrade from Klay Thompson. They're going to have to basically let Klay Thompson go, so you upgrade him, and you get Paul George. Without Paul George, the L.A. Clippers aren't where they were last year. Kawhi didn't play, and he basically dominated some of the playoff games that they played against Dallas. As you know, Harden didn't show up, so you got to. I mean, if you want to take another shot at the Golden State Warriors, you got to make this move. You got to make this move.
But Adrian, do you think they are going to win the title with Paul George?
I don't think they'll win the title, but they'll have a chance to win the title, Perloff. If they take Kawhi, what's Kawhi going to play? 30 games for you?
Kawhi's 32. Kawhi might have another run left in him. It's
he plays as many games as his age. 32.
That's a great call. And he's 32 going on like 50.
Yeah, but
right.
I mean, listen, Paul George is not young. Draymond's not young. Curry's not young. This would be an unusual team age-wise to win a title.
Perloff, nobody's young in the NBA. It's just a big Super Bowl where everybody just gets moved around to each team.
But Adrian, you saw what happened in the playoffs. These young teams all of a sudden are growing up. You got the Thunder, T-Wolves, and Mavericks, who are all these young players. I think what's that expression when one generation passes? The torch has been passed.
Adrian, I'm curious to get your take on this, on the other big NBA story, because I know you've got an opinion on it. The Lakers drafting Bronny, a feel-good story or a joke, Adrian?
It's a joke. It's a favor. It's a favor for LeBron. I mean, once LeBron's gone, Bronny's going to be gone. So it's like I said, it's a favor he did for him. And I told you before, NBA is not a developmental league. That's the G League. So basically, the Lakers didn't even have to draft him. They could have took a player and then caught him in free agency if they wanted him that bad. There was no reason to draft him. And the draft they just wanted the headlines, the Laker headlines. That's what they wanted.
Yeah, we got the tears yesterday. Adrian, thanks so much. Good to talk with you. Have a great weekend. We did get tears yesterday. Apparently that was in New York City. They were in some kind of, what would you have called that, where Bronny was sitting? Did you guys see where his draft party was? It was pretty intimate except for the 5 photographers who were there to take his photo. But he must have been in some kind of, it looked kind of like a nightclub or something.
Yeah, it looked like the
back
VIP
room of a nightclub,
like
right?
a restaurant or nightclub. Yeah.
But he was in New York for it. So I don't know if there was ever a thought that maybe if they started hearing better things from the Lakers, if they would have gone to the studio.
I was
a
little confused about what was going on because LeBron wasn't visible.
He was there, though.
He was there, but he wasn't visible in any of the video that Bryce put up,
right.
LeBron's other son.
Apparently he was pouring champagne for people.
Oh.
That's what I read.
That was the only part of this. I know, Matt, you were saying that kind of annoyed you, the tears and stuff. That was the only part of this that I did feel good about. The only reason why I say that is because Bronny has been through a lot. The health thing, for him to have this moment, that was the only part of this. And then Savannah, again, just a nightmare situation with him having the cardiac arrest last year. To see him come to this far and be drafted, I think is not nothing. So that was one thing I saw. I said, you know what? This is very nice. I liked seeing that.
It's not, I don't want to sound like a hater, but we're talking about how this whole thing has been a fait accompli. It's been in the works.
Yeah.
And I know at the moment comes and maybe it's a little bit nicer, but it's like it's all being set up.
Right.
So even you really have to trick yourself into thinking I'm getting this on my own merit. And again, this is not, I'm not critical of Bronny necessarily on this because what's he going to do? I mean, all of this is being totally dictated to him, for him. But again, it's I don't also want to be sold something that I know is just not, that's not real life. I'm grateful that nothing really bad happened to Bronny. I would have liked to see him play college another year.
I would too. I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing is that again, like I've said before on the show, there are players who have averaged, I don't know about 4, but 5, 6 points a game in college that have been drafted in the second round. And been freshmen. That's not new. I just think that given we know he had some talent because he was a pretty high-ranked recruit, and like he was a legitimate top 25 guy. You would think that if he plays another year in college, he could have a really good year. Like he goes to another school, just not a right fit at USC. That maybe he goes out there, he plays great, and then you're talking, all right, you got to draft him in the first round. Like, that wouldn't have been a crazy thing. It was like so many of these players would not have entered the draft given what he had gone through, and he's only doing it because he has this hookup from his dad.
Right.
I would have advised him to go into this year's draft for sure because, honestly, LeBron could be gone.
I know, but LeBron is saying that he wants to play 2 to 3 more years. I don't think that he's going anywhere. And even if he gets hurt, let's just say, knock on wood that he doesn't, because I don't want to see that.
Very possible at age 40.
Okay, in modern medicine, everyone comes back.
Aaron Rodgers is about to play at 41 or whatever he is.
Football quarterback's way different than NBA. We know that.
It is, but like there's very few, unless it is something like heart related or something, there's going to be very few things that are going to be career ending for LeBron.
But why risk it? What's the point? There's 0 point for him to go back to college. Why not just do it now?
Again, develop. You know? Your dad's on the team. You're going to get drafted anyway.
If there was no
and you can get
one
a
and done
second-round
rule,
pick, like
if there was no one and done rule, there'd be 25 high school players would have been drafted last. Would you tell them to sit and develop and not go to the NBA?
Yeah. 855-212-4227.
That's insane. You would tell,
especially now when you get paid to be in college. What? Yes.
That is terrible advice. If you could get drafted number 4 overall in the NBA and you say, well, I want to go to develop in college, what are you thinking?
I'm not talking about someone who's getting drafted 4, but you're saying 25 guys would have come, you would advise them to go back to college. Maybe not the guy who's getting drafted 4, but maybe the guy who's getting drafted, at 38 in the second round.
But those high school players, they have to go in the NBA. Like, you can't take the risk of going to college.
Why? You get paid now. It's less of a risk than it used to be.
Well, right, but you could kill your draft status.
Again, I guys are coming back from injuries now. Like
No. I'm saying, like, you could not be good. If you're a top 10 pick in the high school, like, you got to go.
Okay.
There's no choice.
I'm not disagreeing with you about top 10 picks.
Yeah.
I'm talking about all the other guys who go too quickly.
Right, but Bronny knew it'd be a risk for Bronny to go back to college. Like, he could go even worse than last year. So, and that's the case.
Literally no risk because this was never about basketball. As long as LeBron is on the Lakers, he was getting drafted. So there's literally 0 risk for Bronny.
No, but the optics-wise, there was a risk. It could have looked even worse. Now it looks bad, but it could have looked way worse next year.
This looks bad. There's nothing basketball about this. There's literally 0 risk for Bronny. He could sit out the whole season next year playing for Texas or whoever, and he would still get drafted. That's how this whole thing worked. You can go to X right now. What do you think of the Lakers drafting Bronny James? Is it a feel-good story? Is it a joke? You are welcome to weigh in. 855-212-4227. Quickly, let's go to Benjamin, who's in SoCal. Hey, Ben.
Yeah, so I'm calling as a Golden State Warriors fan myself.
Okay.
And I have a very unpopular opinion, but I really feel having regularly watched Warriors games throughout the course of the last 2 seasons and seeing how each season ended and seeing how last season ended with them getting not wiped out in the play-in tournament, I'm kind of looking at the core and I'm looking at it as like, this is not going to cut it for me anymore. I'm actually in a mindset that it is time to start rebuilding. It's time to trade away the core, start getting younger, try and accumulate draft picks.
Wait, Ben, I don't want to cut you off here, but when you say trade away the core, you want Steph Curry traded away?
I trade him for a haul of draft picks or some young superstar or something of that nature, because I feel like if they keep getting older, they keep staying in the path of going after old superstars, they're not even going to make the playoffs going forward. Or if they make the playoffs, they'll be one and done, like the Clippers were when they traded for Harden.
Benjamin, thank you, Perloff. You're the tear it down guy generally.
The logic is obvious. The Chris Paul thing was a disaster, and this is kind of a different version of that. He's not wrong at all. This is not going to end well for the Warriors dynasty. And by the way, I was just thinking about something. Where will Curry end his career? You never ever know.
You do never know, but I don't think the Warriors are ready to pull the ripcord on this.
I would not do it either. But honestly, like any Warriors fan who thought like Chris Paul was the answer last year, like that's the kind of thing you're going to try and do at the end of a career, and it's not going to work.
855-212-4227. All right, welcome to take your calls on the Warriors, on Bronny James getting drafted to the Lakers. Coming up, got a special treat for you. One of the absolute best superstar of AEW, formerly of WWE. She was Sasha Banks. Now she is Mercedes Moné, cousin of Snoop Dogg. Mercedes Moné is going to join the show next. Don't move, Maggie Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Got a QB with a wild tale to tell. Speaks of pyramids and secrets where the old gods dwell. First it's just giants, ancient and grand. They come the aliens with plans for the land. Oh, Peter Bellotti, hold on tight. Each game unveils a stranger sight. From ancient relics beneath the turf to cosmic plots that question Earth. Aaron Rodgers, whispers of a league on the moon, played in craters under a starlit monsoon. Claims of playbooks written in celestial script, decoded by seers in a cryptic crypt. Now it's not just aliens, it's time-traveling fans watching games that are part of the universe's plans. Interdimensional gates at the 50-yard line, where players and phantoms uniquely intertwine. Oh, Peter Bellotti, what's next in the game? A halftime show with Bigfoot staking his claim. Quantum football that phase and shift. Each play a puzzle, a dimensional rift intertwined. Oh, Peter Bellotti, what's next in the game? A halftime show with Bigfoot staking his claim. Quantum football that phase and shift. Each play a puzzle, a dimensional rift intertwine. Cheer for Peter Bellotti in a world so surreal, where games predict the future and secrets unveil. In a stadium of mysteries where the bizarre takes flight, Peter's love for the Jets shines ever so bright. Oh, Peter Bellotti, hold on tight. Each game unveils a stranger sight. From ancient relics beneath the turf to cosmic plots that question Earth. Oh, Peter Bellotti, hold on tight. Peter Bellotti. Oh, Peter Bellotti.
2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. It is always our pleasure when we get to talk to one of the stars of professional wrestling, AEW. Right now, she's the AEW TBS champ. That's Mercedes Moné. She'll be at the Forbidden Door at UBS Arena. It's happening this Sunday. That is June 30th. It's going to be a fantastic card. Mercedes, thanks so much for joining us. Great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, before we get into your match coming up this weekend and all the great things that are happening with you, you're a massive Boston sports fan.
Yeah.
This is you have to be in your element right now. Where were you when the Boston Celtics won the title?
I was in the arena. I was at the TD Garden. I was front row. I was with that countdown. I was with the fans. I was ready for that eruption. It was an amazing moment to celebrate with my team and my city. I also had my championship there too. So that's why we're the cities of champions for a reason. It was so amazing to be there live and to really just be there with my city. It was so incredible.
Tell us a little bit about this journey for you. In January, you signed with AEW. Sounds like from the reports, a little bit of a bidding war, but you go to AEW. How has your experience been with this outfit?
It's been so incredible. I get to have this fire in my heart again. I get to go out and chase my dreams once again. I get to have so many different doors of opportunity wide open for me to go and just walk right through. AEW is where the best wrestle, and I am one of the greatest women's wrestlers in the world. So to be able to do that, to do this at this platform where Tony Khan, legit, he wants only the best. He wants the best of the best, and he knows that he has the top player right here as the face of TBS. So it's been such an incredible journey, especially since I debuted back in March at Boston at the TD Garden. It's just been such an amazing, amazing experience so far.
Your match coming up, Forbidden Door against, again, UBS Arena. It's this Sunday, June 30th. Stephanie Vacker, can you explain what we're in for on Sunday?
Oh, you are in for the most amazing women's lucha match in the history of women's wrestling. I don't think people are going to even expect what we're going to be pulling out this Sunday. Stephanie Vacker is the New Japan Strong Women's Champion, a title that I was trying to capture last year. I had a tournament last year and I wrestled her, and that was my first time ever wrestling her. She is from Chile, but she's out in Mexico performing for CMLL and New Japan Strong. And she is amazing. The moment that I locked up with her, I knew there was something really, really special with her. And you don't get that with a lot of people that you wrestle. It's usually you train with them or you have to fill out their chemistry. Just me and her instantly had chemistry like that. So this Sunday, not only is my TBS title on the line, her New Japan Strong title is on the line. So both titles are on the line. So one of us is going to be walking out as a double champion.
Who were some of the other women that you felt that instant chemistry with? And then maybe would we be surprised on somebody who you really had to work on that chemistry, but it ended up becoming, this great entertainment product, this great experience?
I won't name names on the last one, so I won't offend them. But there's women like Bailey. I remember having a tryout match with her, and we didn't even know each other, and instantly we had chemistry. Same thing with Charlotte. When we first went to FCW, me and her were told to lock up, and we had the most crispest lockup. Like, it still gives me goosebumps because of that lockup. I was like, whoa, me and you are going to do something very special one day, and we did. Same thing with Willow. Willow's someone that I wrestled last year, and she's the one that won the New Japan Strongmen's Championship last year. Instantly, when I locked up with her, I was like, you're amazing. We have good chemistry, and I just can't wait for more. And the same with Stephanie. So I'm so thankful and so fortunate for these opportunities to wrestle so many new girls and to have these chances to lock up with these girls and see if I have instant chemistry. And right now, women's wrestling is bigger and larger than ever. There's so many women that are out there training to try to be in a place where I'm at right now. So it's just so cool to see how far the sport has changed for us.
Yeah, and you mentioned Charlotte. That's Charlotte Flair. We're talking with Mercedes Moné. Of course, she'll be fighting Forbidden Door, UBS Arena. That's June 30th, this Sunday. And, I don't know if you've seen Ronda Rousey, who's someone you overlapped with at WWE, had some pointed remarks about the company. Did you know that she was that unhappy when she was wrestling with WWE? Because it sounds like this was not a great experience for her.
Well, that's her experience. So yeah, get the book if you want to read that. I had a great experience there. I even had a great experience wrestling Ronda. So, are you sure you read the book right? Because I think she had some good times and great matches out there. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, she said it was like casting couch culture. She said that she thought they weren't really invested in women's wrestling until they were sort of forced to be. Were these any kind of conversations that were going on behind the scenes, or this was news to you?
It's news to me because of what I brought to the table for WWE and for women's wrestling, what I fought for. Me and Ronda are completely different when it comes to our views for women's wrestling. I am the standard, the blueprint for a reason, and I love and I respect this game so much. So I'm ready to fight and do everything I can for women's wrestling. I know Ronda coming in did help a lot because of how big of a name she was in UFC, and really just fighting for women in that culture. So I would only hope that she would want to come to WWE to make it better and not to talk bad about it.
Mercedes Moné is joining us. Forbidden Door, UBS Arena. This is June 30th. All right, we have to talk a little bit outside of the ring. Your uncle is Snoop Dogg. It's always very fun because he's everywhere. He's going to be commentating for the Olympics for NBC. I mean, if your uncle was going to be an Olympic athlete, what sport do you think Snoop Dogg would be best at?
Well, first, he's not my uncle. He's all your uncles. He's my cousin. He's my friend.
He's your cousin. I'm sorry.
And I don't know. You never know with Snoop Dogg. That's the thing about him. You don't know what to expect, but you do know you're going to have a good time when he's out there because he loves to have a great time. So I can't wait to watch the Olympics knowing that he's going to be there and commentate.
I think some people were maybe a little bit surprised that the Drake-Kendrick Lamar feud that went on was so much about, California and LA versus, I guess, Toronto and Drake. And you know what? And Snoop didn't go to the concert in LA, and people were surprised by that. And he's sort of like neutral. Were you surprised?
I am surprised because I wish he would have gave the ticket to me because I'm the biggest Kendrick fan. So if I would have known that he wasn't going to show up, then I should have showed up with Kendrick. That's for sure.
Let's have one last one for you. Are you following Caitlin Clark? I know you're such a big sports fan.
Yes, I'm following her and Angel. It's so incredible to see women's basketball take storm like this. I can't wait to sit courtside for a game one day. It's so exciting. I love everything women in sport are killing. We got to keep on doing it.
So Caitlin obviously is getting like a welcome to the WNBA moment from some of the veterans, right? They're playing her. And Angel Reese also is getting the welcome to the WNBA moment, and they're rising above it and they're coming back for more. Did you experience those sort of welcome to, wrestling moments? And if so, how did you overcome them?
Duh. I mean, I feel like that's in any industry you go into, especially if you're the new person and especially if you're good. People don't want you to be better than them. They want you to be good, but not better than them. So for you just have to follow your heart and just let them know, like, you can be good, but I'm going to be better. But we can work as a team. But I'm just going to let you know that I'm the blueprint, I'm the standard, and I'm the CEO. So you just have to keep on going because I want to always be the best. And that's just not against women. It's against the men too. So it's just letting them know that you have to be the very best. And who cares if you have haters? You're always going to have a hater because the top of the bosses, they're not going to like, but I give you the paycheck for the reason.
Mercedes Moné, can't wait to watch June 30th. It's this Sunday, UBS Arena, Forbidden Door. So great to see you. Thank you for doing this and best of luck on Sunday.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much.
Let's get to the headlines. Andrew Bogusch is here with all the latest. What's up?
Guys, good morning again. Caitlin Clark scored 15 points, 4 of 9 shooting, but that's not enough, according to Fever head coach Christy Sides. She wants Clark to take at least 15 shots a game, say they must be better as a staff at getting her those shots. Indiana, an 89-77 loss in Seattle last night, dropping to 1-2 on a 5-game road trip with Phoenix and Vegas left. Those Aces are getting hot. Winners of 4 of 5 after a 95-83 final in Chicago. Angel Reese did have 18 points and 11 boards in defeat. That's her 9th consecutive double-double. U.S. men's soccer took a 2-1 loss from Panama yesterday in Atlanta, playing the final 70-plus minutes down a man because of a Tim Weah red card for smacking an opponent in the head during a collision. The Americans probably now need to upset Uruguay on Monday night in KC to reach the knockout stage of Copa America. In case you need to pick me up this morning, the Yankees swoon continued last night in Toronto.
1-0. Swing and a fly ball left center, and George Springer has done it again. That one into the WestJet flight deck. It's a 2-homer game for Springer. He has 6 RBIs in 2 innings. 8-0 Blue Jays.
On Jays radio, George Springer, a 3-run bomb in each of the first 2 frames. Toronto cruising to a 9-2 win. The Bombers have lost 9 of 11, including their last 4, including the last 2 by a combined score of 21-4. Aaron Boone is nothing if not positive.
So these are little things in the season that suck right now, but that also make me continue to feel really good about this group and where we're going. You know, we'll look back in this time and it'll be something that I know is going to end up being good for us.
The Yankees now trail the Orioles by percentage points for first in the AL East. Baltimore roughed up Texas yesterday 11-2. Aaron Judge and Bryce Harper are the leading vote getters after the initial phase of fan voting, so they'll start the All-Star game in Texas on July 16th. Assuming Harper's healthy, he did some things to his left hamstring, running out the final out of last night's 7-4 loss to the Marlins. Further imaging today. As for that All-Star game, fans will now vote on 2 finalists at each position in each league to pick the rest of the starters. Those results come out on Wednesday night, then reserves and pitchers next Sunday. The actual judgment against the NFL is $4.696 billion. That gets tripled under federal antitrust laws, bringing the sum to just past $14 billion, all because a California jury decided the league artificially inflated the price of Sunday ticket. The bulk of the penalty would go to individuals who bought the out-of-market package, the rest to bars and restaurants. The league will appeal. This all began with an initial lawsuit back in 2015 by a San Francisco bar.
So how much we get?
Yeah, $32.
Not anything anytime
legal
soon.
estimation.
You know,
Pete's gonna pay for parking with this money.
I bet they would even do this. Like, you know, click a box. Would you like to apply the credit you got from this class action lawsuit to your next subscription to Sunday Ticket? Like, just automatically move the money right over.
I would do it in 2 seconds.
Me too, because they've got me. I've got to get the package no matter how expensive it is.
Can I ask you guys a question? If you had the choice as a viewer, say it changes and you can buy one team a la carte. Say, Maggie, you're a Bills fan.
Right.
Would you?
Take myself out of it.
Because you're in the field, you have to. What do you think people will do? Will they buy the whole thing, or will they just buy a team? I know a lot of people play fantasy football and bet games who are still going to want the whole thing.
I was thinking about that. So let's, we do this for a living. We're lucky like that. But let's just say we're just only fans, right? No, not only fans, but you get it.
All right.
Is that for your feet?
Pete Pete just woke up.
For my big, gigantic tree feet and my OnlyFans account.
Or because you puke. Either one of those is a
Is that
a fetish.
Is that also a kink?
Either way, Rex Ryan's calling in next hour.
He wants to see if there's any of that tuna jello left over. There's not, Rex. So just a fan. I think that I would just buy my favorite team if I'm out of market, because I'm getting games on Monday, Sunday, Saturday, Wednesday. Yeah. If I've got a Thursday, I've got so many primetime games. I'm going to see Joe Burrow. I'm going to see Lamar Jackson. I'm going to see Patrick Mahomes. I don't know if it'd be worth it. As long as I get my team and then whoever they put on national TV, I think I'm good.
I think most people would buy the whole thing. I think that would be a
for
more
football,
popular
yes.
Yeah, because you got your fantasy team, and like betting is so the numbers on betting are so far up that you gotta, you do the under on the Jags-Titans game. You gotta see what happens.
Yeah, there's one factor in this too, and I lived in Pennsylvania for a while, so I did not have the Jets for a while, about 6 years.
Saved yourself a lot of aggravation.
Well, that's the thing. So if I decided, okay, I'm only going to buy Jets games, maybe, in a spirited, hyped for the season moment, I think, I'm going to buy the Jets and they'll have some great games and I'm going to watch the season. It's going to be awful. So maybe the first year I say, all right, I'm going to commit to my team, my terrible team, watch them lose 13 games. I think the next year, I'm saying I got to buy the whole package because I can't be submitted to only watching the Jets.
Right.
That
And
would
if
kill
Aaron
me.
Rodgers tears his Achilles 4 plays into the season, you want some other options.
I need some reprieve. Even I live in New York and I need a reprieve from the Jet product because of how bad it is at times.
Yeah, I can offer you the Giants.
Can I just state that this is a very
gosh.
Jet-specific take? You're saying that I don't want my on-card team because my team's going to be so awful that I don't want to be stuck with them. I don't think that's where the debate was supposed to go.
Yeah, what if you're a 49er fan living in Tampa?
You know how many terrible NFL teams there are? Like, yes, the
Not
Jets
like the Jets. They're pretty much the worst.
As a Raider fan, they would want to be committed. And again, I lived with a Raider fan who was in Pennsylvania. Ask them if they would want to be committed to only watching Raider games.
The Raiders are a dynasty compared to your Jets. No, I just say I don't agree with that. There aren't a lot of bad teams. I think that is not what's going to happen here.
You think the Cardinals fans, the last how many years they won playoff appearance in 10 years? You think they're like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna commit to only watching the Cardinals.
Well, they made the playoffs a couple years ago. I just don't think the Jets haven't the Jets and Giants been the worst two teams in the league over the last 12 years?
Right,
yeah, but what if it's a Panther fan? I mean, there are bad.
There are some terrible franchises, bro.
Right, but those teams are going to be bad. I think that's about it. I don't think this is one of the big issues where teams are bad. I think there are a lot of fans.
I think
Carolina is the worst fan base right now. No one goes to the stadium.
If you did it, it opens the door to a whole nother audience that didn't want to get involved into the Sunday ticket. You'd have the full plan.
Gateway drug.
True.
You have the full plan, and then you have that plan where a Viking fan, where a Panthers fan, where a 49ers fan will partake. Maybe if it's even for a year, you know how much money that's going to make for them?
How about this? I know you wouldn't be able to, I think these leagues want to know, and the providers want to know just about how much money they're making on this so they know how much they want to charge for advertising, whatever. But imagine if you could get Sunday ticket. You can get if you buy a season long for your favorite team, just for one team, and then that buys you the opportunity to just click on a game you want to buy. So all of a sudden, you want to buy Jags Titans because you've got fantasy implications or you bet on it or whatever. All right, well, it's going to be $9.99.
Yeah.
Is that worth it for you in the moment to spend $10 to buy this? Or maybe it's $6.99, whatever the price point
$9
is.
might be steep. But
$9 might be steep. Okay.
They might do that.
I paid $15.99 to get like a playoff game because like my kid was watching TV and I needed to watch it. And I was like, I'm just going to buy this for YouTube. I wonder if you could get people to really just nibble here game by game and how much you could charge per game.
All right, just back to the Jets once. 13-year playoff drought. The next closest is 8 years with Denver. Like, there are not a lot of Jets out there.
Yeah,
just
we
over very
know they
close.
stink.
I know they're bad, Pearl, but again,
that's not.
Washington,
I don't
Washington
think
Commander fans, what they've gone through, they're going to be like, the 4
Yeah,
or 5
I
terrible
think-
years in a row.
I
They're
think-
not going to want to go to a full package after seeing just 2 bad years in a row.
I don't. I think the Commanders would draw a lot of eyeballs this year. I think a lot of Commanders fans would buy that. But I think Commanders fans are spread throughout the country. Like, I think a lot of these teams would do really well.
My fiance's family were all Commander fans, and now there's only one left. I mean, you want to talk about the dying fan base.
But aren't
talk
they all
about the
fired
Washington
up?
Commanders.
But if Jaden Daniels is good, they'll be back in.
I don't know. I'm telling you, it's only from the people I talked to who have said that they've left Dan Snyder, all the stuff with the team name. They've had enough. A lot of people have just flat out left the Commander fan base. And look at the attendance numbers. Look at the viewer numbers. Every metric shows how terrible the DMV support for the Commanders are right now.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if that didn't turn around.
Andy B said I'd pay game by game in the chat.
I'd love like a middle ground because there's 3 to 4 games every Sunday I'm never going to watch. I'd love if I could pay like half price and I have to pick like the 5 games I want to watch like on Friday afternoon. I got to lock my choices in.
Right.
And like that's my quad box.
I love all those options because all of them will make money if they offered all of them.
I have Pearl had a good question when we talked about this yesterday. Like, take your teams out of it. Like, let's say you could buy one team to watch. Who would you watch?
All right, let's all think on that, and we're going to answer it after the break.
Thanks, Seacrest.
And one of us is going to be eliminated and voted off the show.
Bye, Pete.
It's going to be a really busy segment. 855-212-4227. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
We left on a cliffhanger. which is a lawsuit right now. Jury found that NFL Sunday Ticket violated antitrust laws. So we asked the question, if you could just buy one season of one team that's not your favorite team and not an in-market team, that's what we're asking, right?
Yes.
Another team.
Right. I'm caught up in the moment here. You got to go Houston Texans, right? They put together an on-paper dream team. This is the year. I guess I'll get a lot of them in prime time, so that's obviously a factor. But for me, it's easily Houston. I got to see what's going to happen here with C.J. Stroud.
Right, so you got to be strategic about this.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not a Cowboy fan, well, you're probably going to get a lot of Cowboys on national TV. If you're not a Chiefs fan, you're probably going to get a lot of Chiefs. You know, maybe even for Houston. If I'm picking one season outside of my fandom or my local market, give me the Chicago Bears. I want to see a little Caleb Williams. Let's see how this goes this year.
That's a good one. I have to see that as well.
I must see that. Bogusch, who would you pick?
I'm going to go Chargers here. I'm going to give me a little Harbaugh, give me a little Justin Herbert. Is this the year that they stop being the Chargers? Probably not, but I'll watch.
Well, I just worry if you buy the Chargers and then everybody gets hurt, aren't you going to be disappointed in your purchase?
Oh, then I'll be EJ looking for somebody else. I want the whole package then.
There you go.
They also don't have as many primetime games as you might have thought.
Chargers?
I think they only have 3 or 4. I don't think they have the full
they have
6.
3.
Why would I have thought that they would have more? Because of Harbaugh?
Yeah, and
but
Justin Herbert.
they're like 17th or 18th in Super Bowl odds, so they're not. Yeah, I'm not surprised. The Texans, the Bears, even those teams have better odds. Anyway, go ahead.
EJ?
I'm going to agree with Maggie. My team would have been Chicago Bears. I looked at the primetime game. They have 3, so I get, 14, doing that math there. So I get 14 games. And the thing I thought about, division. I want to watch certain other teams they face. And I want to see the NFC North, how that plays out. I want to see their game against the Lions. I want to see the games against the Packers. I want to see the games against the Vikings. Any of those games that aren't on national TV, I want to get them. So I'm taking the Bears for Caleb and the NFC North.
And Pete, who's your out of market, you're not a fan of your secondary team you would buy a full season of?
It'd probably be the Bengals.
Little Joe Burrow?
Yeah, a little Burrow. I feel like they're always hanging around, and I think they would always have competitive, and they're not going to be really featured too much nationally. It's probably the choice I would go with.
Do you want to know something crazy? Why don't any of us pick the Ravens? You got a 2-time MVP. Lamar.
I thought about the NFC North team. They kind of play old man football a little bit.
Yeah. The Ravens.
I know the NFC North does that a little too, but they have 2 teams in the dome, so like you get some good games. Like I don't know if I can do AFC North.
The AFC title game was 17-10 Chiefs Ravens.
Yeah.
Like it was not entertaining. By the way, Jaden Daniels is the rookie quarterback we should all be watching, not Caleb. He is. Have you guys read about the reviews of this guy? It is like I bet you
best shape of his life.
I mean, they're saying like, God, no one's come in the NFL in a long time this ready to go. It's going to be amazing.
Well, he did just win the Heisman. Let's go to the phones, 855-212-4227. We talk about LeBron and Bronny James being drafted by the Lakers. Sean is in Oregon. Sean, is this a heartwarming story, or is it a joke that the Lakers selected Bronny James in the second round?
This ain't no joke, you guys. The stars are coming in alignment, and LeBron's writ the script. And this is just going to be awesome. Have you ever seen a father and son work together? And you ever see what a father's going to do? He'll do everything in his power. The most powerful person in the NBA will do everything in his power to win his son a championship. And you'll watch LeBron James have one of his best years ever. This is going to be awesome. Get your popcorn ready, everybody.
Sean, I didn't think of that angle. Have yourself a great weekend, pal. Thank you. I didn't think of that angle. Is LeBron trying to win a title so bad for Bronny that we're going to get his best season ever? I thought just the two of them playing together was enough. But again, where's the end of this thing?
I don't know.
Are you predicting an MVP season?
I don't think I don't see a title, but yeah, they're probably one of the most watchable teams in the NBA, but they're certainly the number one. I would say maybe Wemby won. Zion, if he's healthy, will not be. But right there, I'm tuning to Lakers. If I'm buying an out-of-market NBA team and the Lakers are not on TV, yeah, I want to see Bronny. Don't you?
Is he going to play? Like, is he playing?
I don't know.
Is he earning any of those minutes?
Maybe Sean's right. Maybe LeBron's like, let's blow him out so we can get my son in the game. This is going to be...
Does the G League have an out-of-market package?
No,
he's
he's like,
bad boy.
I don't know. I'm just saying,
G
like,
League pass.
Oh, we got one of those terrible Eastern Conference teams. Let's put it on them and get Bronny in the game. Like Detroit's in town. Let's go. No, you guys don't. You guys are going to all be excited to watch Bronny. That's the ironic part.
Get your South Bay Lakers gear
together.
together.
How much is he playing?
Give him 7 minutes and a blowout of the Hornets.
Okay, but usually in those blowouts, the other bench guys who actually may need to give you a minute or two in a game, like that's when those guys get to play. Not Bronny.
No, you get. Listen, as a former bench warmer, if it's the right score, you get on the court.
Takes one to know one. Maggie and Perloff coming up. Andy Katz joins us to recap the draft.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Lakers at the center of the story yet again.
As usual.
Monopolized this news cycle. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, Bronny James, the selection at 55th overall, Perloff. And we're asking whether you think this is a heartwarming story or whether you think this is a joke, because I think people are pretty split on this.
Nobody heartwarming. That's immediately such a pejorative term. Is it heartwarming that they drafted him, or is this cool? Like, it's going to be fun to watch.
Okay, but how much do you think we're actually going to get of LeBron and Bronny even on the court together? Because, again,
I think we're going to see it, because it's going to be I would hope, in non-impactful minutes. But, yeah, we got to see it. They have to do that for us. If they don't do that for us, then I want my money back.
Okay, but here's the question. Does Bronny deserve to be on the basketball court in the NBA right now?
No, of course not. But so what? What do I care? I want to see Bronny and LeBron. I better. You're telling me you wouldn't be disappointed if the Lakers just stash Bronny on the end of the bench and we never see him and his dad play together?
Well,
what's that? What did we do all this for?
But I also don't want to watch a guy go out there and get absolutely cooked, because you want this alley-oop in your mind. You've created this sort of idea of LeBron throwing an alley-oop to Bronny. Like, are we sure they can execute that kind of play in an NBA game? Because I know LeBron can, but I'm not sure that Bronny can.
Bronny throw the alley-oop, but I don't know. I was watching the combine videos. Bronny can jump. So, yeah, get him in garbage time and make a play here. It's going to be the Nike commercial. I can't wait.
LeBron James should not be anywhere near garbage time. That's malpractice. You have a guy who's going to be 40 in December, who's got everything has got to be about the minutes on his body. Like, he can't be playing garbage time just to get a photo with Bronny.
Everything you say in theory sounds great, and I understand. But if you are the coach or the GM of the Lakers and you don't put Bronny and LeBron out there together after all this crap we've been through, I mean, come on.
Okay, but here's the thing. We all know who the coach of the Lakers is. It's J.J. Redick. And J.J. Redick is likely going to do what LeBron... Hell, LeBron was subbing himself in and out when Darvin Ham was the head coach. Like, of course he's going to decide when he wants to play. And he's also going to decide when Bronny plays. Like, again, I know LeBron's earned a lot in terms of what he's done for the league. But really, I'm asking just, like, where does it end? If you're a Laker fan, are you like, all right, so LeBron's deciding how many minutes he plays. LeBron's deciding how many minutes Bronny plays. Is LeBron deciding how hard teammates are taking on Bronny in practice? Are other guys in the league kind of taking it easy on Bronny so they don't want to tick off LeBron? Does Bronny make an Olympic team? And where does this end?
Yeah, I mean, does the commissioner just hand him the trophy? What are you talking about?
Let's turn our attention to a friend of the show, Andy Katz. You know him, reporter and analyst, not only for the NCAA, but Turner, the Big Ten, NBA TV, has been all over the draft, and, of course, college hoops. Andy, thanks so much for joining us this morning. How you doing?
This is the most doing great. This is the most we've ever talked about the number 55 pick.
and ever will, quite frankly. So if you were answering our poll question today, which is at Maggie and Pearl on X, is this a heartwarming story or is this a joke?
I wouldn't say it's a joke. I have to say it's somewhere in the middle. And maybe that's not, maybe that's a cop-out. But I do want to say this at the beginning. And this, I think, has gotten a little lost. Is I think first we have to appreciate that he's even in this position. He had a cardiac arrest last summer. I mean, he literally had to be brought back to life. He almost died. And the fact that he was able to get back on a basketball court, get cleared at USC, play, healthy or not, he was not the top 3 on that team. They didn't have a good year. Then there are another set of hurdles you have to get through with NBA medical doctors, and they tend to be a little bit more stringent than in college. And we've seen this before with various players. Something pops up that someone got cleared in college, not for the NBA. He clears that hurdle in mid-May. And so now, okay, he has the decision. And actually, I was there in Chicago when he was going through I wasn't at the hospital with him, but we were waiting to see if he was going to get cleared. He got cleared, I think it was May 13th, the week of the Combine. And even though most second-round picks want to and always do play at the Combine, I was a little surprised that he did, because he hadn't played much. And so then they threw him out there, and he did okay. I mean, he wasn't a standout, obviously, but you can get exposed on those 5-on-5s, and that's why a lot of agents don't have their players play in those situations. So he did that. He put himself out there. And when I sat down with him for an interview for NBA TV, I was incredibly impressed with his character, his basketball IQ, just overall, just a, very pleasant young man who understood where he was and wanted to create his own path. So all of that, I think we need to establish first. But then you get into the agent part, which I don't think was handled properly. And I do question the way this has been constructed, because for Rich Paul to basically say, okay, you're only working for the Suns and the Lakers, that's all you're working out for, which makes zero sense if you're a second-round pick. Like, I know this is not about finances. They don't need the money. But wouldn't you want him to work out for 15, 16 teams and see if he could go at 35, 39, somewhere? Maybe a team that he could play on a little bit more. I don't see him playing on the Lakers at all. Certainly not initially. And then these, what Bob Myers was saying yesterday on ESPN, that basically these threats that any team above the Lakers that takes him, he's going to Australia. So they've boxed the Lakers in. Clearly this was wired from the start. I mean, let's not be naive. And so now, okay, he's there. What are you going to do? What should you do? Well, you should make sure he plays in the G League because he needs to play. What good is he going to be on the bench, not getting better, not dealing, because you can't mimic, what happens in practice in a live game situation. He needs to play. And so send him to the G League and let him get minutes. I'll personally be surprised. I mean, it's going to happen next season, the father-son. I can't see it happening early in the year. It has to be later in the year when hopefully he's got his legs under him in terms of experience at a professional level. I think it'd be a major mistake and a sideshow if it happened on like November 4th. It needs to happen maybe February 20th or something after he's actually played some professional basketball.
Andy, is there any chance teams look at him and say, well, maybe he'll take major steps as he gets further away from the cardiac issue? And also do they also look at the genetics and say, well, he is LeBron James' son. Maybe he has some of that. I saw the workout that went viral. He seemed to jump over that rim pretty easily. Were there teams that were interested in him as a real prospect?
Well, that's the unknown because, he was in the McDonald's All-American game. He was a high-level recruit. I don't want to dismiss that because it was going to be either Ohio State, USC, or Oregon. Now, all Nike schools, but, it was going to be one of those three that he was going to go to. So, it would have been interesting if he'd gone to Ohio State or Oregon. None of those, actually, Oregon ended up making, but Ohio State didn't end up making the tournament. But, if he had played a full year and been in the NCAA tournament, would that have changed his draft status? Maybe. I don't know. Personally, from a basketball perspective, I think he should have gone back to college, whether that was, play at USC for Eric Musselman, go to Ohio State, play with Diebler, or go, Uncle Drew. Drew Joyce is like, an uncle to them, close friend of LeBron James, and go to Duquesne, be the featured guy, and just, be that player and get those games and those reps because he's a 6'1" combo guard. That's who he is. He's not a true point, and he's not a true shooting guard. Good defender. Is he an elite defender? No. Could he be? Sure, he could be. But you can't change his height, and the NBA doesn't look too kindly on 6'1" combo guards. So he's got a mountain to climb, but his name is James. And, look, this is the life and the world we all live in. There are always favors. Nepotism rules in various places. So I don't, let's not be naive on that either. He's going to get more opportunities than someone who doesn't have that last name. But now he's got to do something with this opportunity. And now it's more on him. And I can't even imagine what it's like to be the son of, in the same sport of one of the greatest of all time. We saw with the Jordan boys, it wasn't easy. Now Bronny's better than both of those guys, but it wasn't easy to be Michael Jordan's kids and play college basketball and not be elite and have all those pressures. And they struggled with all of that, but they weren't good enough, and that's okay. But, this can't be an easy situation for someone who wants to follow the same path of their famous father.
Wait till we get to Bryce. Wow.
Yeah.
Andy Katz is joining us. Of course, NCAA reporter and analyst, Turner, NBA TV, Big Ten. Andy does it all. Andy, obviously, we mentioned the Lakers are like the center of the news universe, even going back to a couple weeks ago with the Dan Hurley contract offer that Hurley turned down to go to UConn, and now the Lakers go with J.J. Redick. Now, when Hurley did his media tour after he turned down the job, he basically admitted that there is a number to leave UConn. It's just the Lakers didn't meet the number. So I'm sure other NBA teams are paying attention to that. How much longer do you think Dan Hurley is at UConn? Because now it's sort of out there that he would be willing to leave if the price is right.
Well, first of all, I don't think he messed with Happy. He and his family absolutely love UConn. They're very Northeast. They've been that way their whole lives. Look, the Knicks are obviously on the up, and Thibodeau's not going anywhere. Obviously, I could see that at some point in his life, but I also think that legitimately, there's a real thought process here of trying to win 3 in a row. They're not hiding that, and making history. They have a chance. It's wide open again. They're going to be in the mix. So why turn that down? You only have one shot at this. The NBA will be there. He's only in his early 50s. He's got plenty of runway to potentially coach in the NBA. People forget with Billy Donovan, after they won back-to-back championships, I was there. I went to the news conference in Orlando, okay? When I was working at ESPN, I went to that news conference. He gets hired by the Orlando Magic. This is after winning 2 championships. And then he got cold feet a week later, and he withdraws as head coach of the Orlando Magic, goes back to Florida, and they were never able to rekindle it. The big difference there is that group that went back-to-back, they all left. And it was a real rebuild job at Florida. It's not a rebuild job at UConn right now. They still have some core pieces. They did great in the portal and with freshmen as well. So they can keep it at a high level. Florida couldn't. I haven't talked to Billy about this, but I'd be curious if in hindsight he regretted that a little bit, because he ended up in the NBA anyway. Obviously OKC and now Chicago. But he wasn't ready to leave college basketball in the University of Florida at that point, even though he didn't have to change his summer home from Gainesville to Orlando, it all fit. He just wasn't ready to leave the college game, and he goes back. The same thing with Dan. He's not ready to leave it either, but it's going to be there for him at some point.
Andy, it's not to be all about the Lakers, but one more Lakers question. How did Tennessee star Dalton Knecht fall to 17?
Yeah, I don't get this at all because, first of all, I don't buy the 23 and all that. I think it's a major mistake for teams that passed on him. High basketball IQ, big-time scorer, can score in a variety of ways. He can defend, he can block shots, do a little bit of everything. And he proved it going from Northern Colorado to Tennessee and being one of the best players in the country, not just in the SEC. I think this is a great pickup for the Lakers, for J.J. Redick, for LeBron. He can trust someone on the wing. And I also, to go back to the original topic here, I kind of feel like this allowed them to take Bronny. I mean, they were going to take Bronny anyway, but it made it easier because they got a player at 17 who they can plug in right now. If they had gotten a project at 17 who wasn't going to contribute, and then they do the same thing at 55, now you've sort of gotten out of the draft with no one that's going to help you. Now you can say, okay, they got someone who can help them at 17. okay, let's deal with whoever it was at 55, Project G League, whatever. This way, I think it made it more palatable, even from a basketball standpoint, to take someone like Bronny at 55 by getting Connect.
Andy Katz joining us, NCAA reporter, analyst, NBA TV as well, as working the draft. Okay, last one for me, Andy, and we are not above gossip on this show. We dive into those kinds of things, but we're having a little trouble with this Kyle Filipowski story that's out here, and wondering if you can actually put some reporter chops to this. Perloff and I, our days at Sports Illustrated are clearly long gone. There was a thought that maybe his draft stock fell for a variety of reasons, but one could have been perhaps a girlfriend who's slightly older than him. We're not talking about a Bill Belichick situation here, but maybe a girlfriend who might be older, maybe the family of Filipowski being out on social media, sort of sending some warnings about this relationship. It's gotten kind of murky. Where's this story from your vantage point?
So I'm not trying to ignore your question, but I just don't know. I knew that he had this older girlfriend. I didn't know the particulars. I try not to dive into that, because it's not pertinent to what I do. So I don't know if that was a factor. I will say that I think this is a little on the NBA. In this 2-day deal here, that this is the first year of it, I think the NBA's got to do a much better job of talking to its teams and saying, okay, is there any way these players are not going to get selected in the first round? Because that was embarrassing for Kyle Filipowski and Johnny Furphy, that they got invited to the green room and then they don't get selected, and then there's not even like a next day. There was at the ESPN studios in New York, but it's embarrassing. I don't know why he slipped. I will say, though, that him landing at Utah is a good fit for him, because I do think he can contribute. Look, he was an All-American, put up great numbers at Duke, helped lead them to the Elite Eight. So this is a head-scratcher for a number of reasons, and I would like to know why he slipped. I don't know if teams will ever really say, but I do think he kind of ended up in a good spot, because I think he could fit with the Jazz.
Real quick, Andy. Who's the guy you love? What's the pick? I saw you on NBA TV that you have a good history with this. Maggie and I want to know, who should we champion out of this year's draft that we didn't expect?
Well, on the court, we talk about Connect. I love that pick. And last year it was all on Jaquez. I think it's an absolute steal at 27 for Minnesota with Terrence Shannon Jr. I get it, why everyone waited on him, because of his legal issues. It was a very serious case. We had to wait until early June. He gets acquitted. The case goes to trial. He takes the stand. And so he's innocent he was innocent. So that's the ruling. That didn't happen until around June 10th or 11th. And teams get caught up in who they're going to select and all that. And he falls, because I'm telling you, if this cloud wasn't around him, he would have been a first-team All-American, and he would have been a lock for the lottery. If you watched him play basketball, he is a legit NBA player now. And what Anthony Edwards has done on the court and those highlight reel dunks, Terrence Shannon can do the exact same thing. I think a playoff team that was within a sniff of the Western Conference Finals got better by adding also Rob Dillingham, by the way, but Terrence Shannon Jr., who will play. And I think he's a legit contender for Rookie of the Year.
Love it. Andy, thank you so much. Kept you a little long there, but we appreciate you making the time for us today. Busy time of year for you always, but thank you so much.
All right, thanks, guys.
Appreciate that. Andy Katz, NCAA, of course, reporter, analyst, worked at NBA TV, did a great job on the draft, obviously.
Do I have time to run home and get my T-Wolves hat? Oh, man, is it on in Minnesota? This is nuts that the team that was in the Western Conference Final added two pretty electric players. right? Are we all in? Come on, Maggie, get on the bandwagon with me.
Sorry, I just am thinking back to a couple weeks ago, and again, not to make this all about Bronny, but when Rich Paul said that Minnesota might be interested in Bronny, but they're not sure about the ownership situation. So not sure they want him to go there. I'm like, I don't think that's going to be of your primary concern. Meanwhile, they're killing it in the draft.
What if they had gotten Bronny? And what if you had LeBron to Minnesota, too? If you added Rob Dillingham, Derek Shannon, LeBron, oh, my God. Bring everyone. A-Rod, that'd be a party. Would you want to be at the draft party with A-Rod and LeBron?
I'm not sure. Coming up, who has had the worst week? We do a little stock up, stock down next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. So I'm perusing the New York Post, as I do every afternoon, looking for good stories for the show. And I came upon a story that made me think of one person, Maggie Gray. And
Really? Was it tuna jello related?
No.
Someone eating something vile?
Big feet.
I just...
Sasquatch.
I just know your sense of humor.
Yeah.
It is not mature. Let's put that.
Spaceballs 3?
The New York Post, here's the headline. I can't believe what we say. What's a fart walk?
She loves it.
How this trendy exercise can help digestion. And I was like, oh, this is gold. I got to hold on. Then I'm watching Fox News, and they just ran with a fart walk segment.
What? How did I miss that?
Yes, you were not looking. Yes. I'll read a little story. Does this trend pass the smell test? Marilyn Smith, a Toronto-based cookbook author and self-proclaimed queen of fiber, claims a post-meal fart walk could be the solution to your digestive issues. She coined the concept after setting out on a stroll with her husband for an hour after mealtime and letting it rip. Smith recalls that her now viral, because I guess it's a TikTok thing, marital routine of release started a decade ago as a simple post-supper walkabout. It all began about 10 years ago. I suggested to my husband that we go for a walk after dinner. When you eat as much fiber as we do, you can get gassy. We walked, cue the farts, and the legendary fart walk was born. That's her saying this, by the way. This is a doctor. No, it's a cookbook author. Same thing.
It's just about.
Whoa. Well, I've heard that taking a walk after dinner is just good for your cortisol levels or something like that. I didn't know.
Well,
I guess the more fiber.
You guys know, like, exercising and running gets everything moving. That's a fact. I mean, we could talk. So I guess that's what this is about.
Wow.
So the moving is key, not just letting yourself fart. Like the walking makes you get the gas out.
Yes.
You know what? I mean,
there's just a lot of science here. Basically, when you're moving, your digestive system starts to move too.
Right.
And like the motion does help move things along.
Okay, but here's a question. Is it working that fast where all of a sudden you're eating, then you're going out to walk and you're all like, you put all that fiber, it's like takes a while to work through your system, doesn't it? That's up
just
my
walking.
Hey, I'm walking here.
Oh, how romantic.
I don't know why you're asking me. Well, let's ask Dr. Lisa Ganju, who says when you're moving, your GI tract is also moving. This helped trigger gut mobility. Gut mobility was a big draft term yesterday, I think. Or movement of your intestines, which is essential for properly breaking down food. So this is actually healthy. I can't believe I'm the one who had to break this story. Great, see what I did there?
A fart walk, or just a walk.
But am I right, by the way, Maggie? There is no headline that would catch your eye. I mean, honestly, like it could be the morning of the presidential election, and if there's a fart walk story, you're clicking on the fart walk story.
I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes I think the person who came up with the algorithm is like scored a 4 on the Wonderlic, because that obviously should have gotten to my feed way before it got to your feed.
No. I actually had to seek out. I was Googling fart walk actually.
And one day it finally hit.
Yeah.
He's just been hoping.
No search, no results. New York
Wait,
Post.com.
you guys don't have alerts on your phone for fart walks?
Send it as a notification.
I will now.
The headline is great. It goes,
You can't retroactively get credit for fart walks, by the way.
funny thing, it goes, how this trendy exercise can help digest it. So it's trendy now. It's in.
We're using the term viral really loosely. It's like everything went viral. No, it's just there's a lot of people clicking on everything.
I think this really went. I mean, who's not going to click on hashtag fart talk? That's what you actually.
Fart walk.
No, the hashtag is actually not fart walk. It's fart talk.
Why is the hashtag fart talk? We're talking about fart walks.
Don't ask me about TikTok, EJ. I'm just giving you the scientific facts here.
Wait a minute.
I can't help what happens on the social medias.
I actually want to commend you. I mean, you really do know my sense of humor.
Yeah.
This is something I would definitely click on.
My God, click on. I think you would actually print this out and frame it.
I mean, who's going for a walk, more importantly, tonight?
Oh, my God.
I guess
this is going to be after a big meal, a Friday night. Tell me everyone and you in our audience is not going to be thinking about this.
I feel like you just go straight to the couch.
Well, what I don't understand though is don't you want to get away? Don't you want to get away from your partner if you know they got gas? Why would you want to walk with them? A torturous half hour.
EJ, you're engaged now. Everything changes.
Yep.
Also, EJ, did COVID teach you nothing? As long as you're outside, everything's fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to social distance. You don't have to do any of that stuff. As long as you're outside, it's cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Shortly after your European proposal becomes the romantic fart walks at night. It's a slippery slope, EJ.
Yeah.
That's a big European thing.
Lots of cheese in that diet.
Oui.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Perloff. I don't know how we would have done the rest of the show.
That one didn't sound healthy.
That's what you don't want to happen on a fart walk.
That one was wet.
That's when someone's running back to the Don't walk too far from the house.
Yeah. Speed walking, like the event, that's what happens. When you see a couple speed walking,
it's like Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. It's not what
the field.
It's not what you thought it was. It's not like they're exercising that way. They just have to get back after a fart walk gone wrong.
Way too much fiber in their diet. That would get anyone moving.
I think the last producer of this chair had an issue like that.
Oh, yeah. Remember when Marash pooped his pants?
That's not the same chair.
Is it a producer? I hope not.
And got a promotion. Honestly, guys, why are you doing this more?
Don't remind us,
Straight
Maggie.
to the top.
Let's not go there, please.
Do you think now when he's warming up in the bullpen at
I feel so bad.
City Field?
I feel bad because, all right, our reputation
Love
is
you,
what it is. We ate lime jello tuna and almost threw up on camera yesterday. Kurt Menefee was sitting here watching this story, and his face, the mortification, obviously a host of Fox Football, he was doing this on Fox 5. His face when the co-host goes, "Have you ever heard of fart walks?" I was watching it.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Kurt Menefee is working with Terry Bradshaw and all those old guys.
Yeah. He's getting farted on.
Yes. What do you think's happening? I always think about that, actually. When we're watching that pregame show, it's like, all right, so it's 7 a.m. in L.A. or 8 a.m. in L.A. These guys have just woken up. Coffee's just getting going. And you're telling me Terry Bradshaw's not ripping one on set?
Those guys need to go for fart walks.
That's just called being on set. I don't even think they care to walk around anymore.
During the pandemic, when the Dan Patrick Show went on Zoom, the four Danettes would often have our mics off, and we would all be laughing. Just send out a group text, "Who's farting right now?" You're on Zoom, and you're in your own home, like, who knows what's happening? Nobody was wearing pants, so there was nothing blocking.
How did DP not lead with that when he got inducted to the Radio Hall of Fame?
Yeah. you see, you'd be on the Zoom in the little box, and like all of a sudden, one of the guys would lean to the right. Like, what's that all about?
That's what the other guy used to do.
By the way, Maggie, you were on Zoom a lot during the pandemic too. Don't tell me that you ever took advantage of the medium.
Listen, I'm a woman. Clearly, I've never farted in my life. It's just science.
Hashtag fart science.
Bogusch, good luck following that.
Yeah, thanks. With Bronny Watch now over, the NHL draft takes the stage tonight at the Sphere in Vegas. The San Jose Sharks have the #1 pick and will use it on Boston University forward Macklin Celebrini.
It's definitely unique. It's going to be a great experience. Everything I've heard about it, it should be super fun and exciting, so I'm really looking forward to it.
And how about this anti-nepotism? Macklin's dad, Rick, is the Golden State Warriors Director of Sports Medicine and Performance, so he was not the 55th pick in the draft yesterday. He plays a whole other sport altogether just to get him away from dad's influence.
I don't know. I think it's getting out of control here. You can't make it now in professional sports if you don't know somebody or are related to somebody.
Wait, I'm sorry. What are you talking about here? You said Sebastian Maniscalco got drafted somewhere. I don't even know what. The words you put together there are not making any sense to me right now. Can you do this whole story again? I'm sorry.
No. U.S. men's soccer could not survive playing. Look it up. Read about it on your fart walk tonight.
That's right.
What do I have to Google to
like my
get
mom
this
would say,
story?
go get the encyclopedia.
Warriors trainer's son
No, not
drafted.
trainer. He's the director of sports medicine and performance. He's got like a PhD.
Yeah. No, this guy's the real deal.
You should know him.
That sounds like a trainer, what you just described.
He's insulted.
Yeah.
Wouldn't Dr. Rock Positano know him?
Probably.
So
he would.
He's reading.
Oh, NHL. Okay, gotcha. Macklin Celebrini. You guys heard about this kid?
We did.
Got drafted in the
No,
second
no.
round last night.
Bogusch should do that in his update.
Just wait until he becomes a thing and Perloff is going to
Yeah.
claim that he's been a fan of his going
Right.
back to
Okay.
kindergarten.
By the way, I just Googled Warriors trainer son drafted. First story is about Macklin Celebrini. Second story, the Lakers draft Bronny. So now Bronny is the face of nepotism in sports. You weren't wrong.
The original Macklin Celebrini was Connor Bedard, and he did win the Calder Trophy yesterday as NHL Rookie of the Year. Now to U.S. men's soccer, playing 70-plus minutes a man down in their second Copa America match yesterday. That was a red card from Tim Weah for hitting an opponent in the back of the head in the 18th minute. The tie-breaking goal then came from Panama on the 83rd. The 2-1 loss leaves the U.S. needing an upset of Uruguay on Monday night in KC for their best chance of reaching the knockout round. Meanwhile, Argentina is expected to rest Messi for its group stage finale tomorrow against Peru in Miami. Sorry about that, Pete. Messi tweaked a hamstring in their previous match, and Argentina's already clinched its spot in the round of 16. Speaking of hamstrings, Bryce Harper's left one fell off running to first base in the final play last night in a 7-4 home loss to the Marlins. Will you ever walk again, Bryce?
I mean, I don't know. I don't really, like I said, I haven't really felt anything like this before. So if I had something to go back on, I would, let you know. But I've never felt anything like this.
That feels like a fart walk breakdown as well.
It does.
Never felt anything like this before.
Harper.
He'll let his wife be the judge of that.
I will say this. He's a Philly, so what will happen is tonight he will be totally fine.
Yes.
Come back and hit 3 home runs in tonight's game.
Yep, and give us another Hawk Tua
of
thing at second base, yeah.
That's, by the way, isn't he supposed to be super religious? He's the player that did the whatever.
I don't know about religious, just kind of like vanilla, right? Like not edgy.
No, he doesn't drink at all
Straight-laced, right?
because
I don't think I knew that.
Because of religion.
Yeah. He's Mormon.
Yeah, he's Mormon, exactly.
Is he really?
Yes.
Bryce Harper?
No idea.
Really?
Yeah,
I knew he was
he's
Vegas.
from Las Vegas, out west.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I didn't know that he was Mormon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he. Are we gonna get in the Kyle Filipowski story?
Let's go back to that.
That aspect has not been confirmed.
The Royals took the first of 4 with the Guardians last night, 2-1. The Blue Jays kept the Yankees struggling 9-2, and the world champion Rangers 7 games under 500 after an 11-2 drubbing in Baltimore.
Come on, Bochy, let's go.
Now to college baseball. This was Texas A&M manager Jim Schlossnagle on Monday night, shortly after losing the national title game to Tennessee.
Coach, with respect to the difficult outcome tonight, but with the rumors circulating today about a specific job opening, what do you have to say about your future in Aggieland?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty selfish of you to ask me that question, to be honest with you. But I left my family to be the coach at Texas A&M. I took the job at Texas A&M to never take another job again.
So for those of you scoring at home, that's 1 personal attack and 1 I'll never leave this job. And then he left the job for Texas less than 24 hours later.
I want to publicly apologize to Richard Zane from Texags. He's a young reporter. He asked the question. That was an obvious question. I wish I could have answered that better. But in the moment, 30 minutes after the last pitch, all I could think about was our players. And I really wasn't in the mood to talk about myself or the future. So I apologize for that to Richard.
Yeah, I don't think he understands why he's apologizing.
Well, also, you've obviously been thinking about your future for a while now, considering you took the job 24 hours after you
Also,
lost.
thinking about your players.
Who you're about to abandon in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop thinking about them and how I'm going to screw them over.
How much money
Or
he's
which
gonna
ones I
get.
want to take to Texas with me.
Did you take a dive into Scrooge McDuck money after that? Off to like a diving board?
Did you guys hear, actually, I saw an interview with the reporter, Zane.
No, what's the deal?
He goes, I don't think the coach owed me an apology.
Ooh, yes, he did.
Yeah, he
I'll speak for
definitely
you.
did.
Yes, he
dude.
did.
Yeah, you were allowed to ask that question. It was the right question to ask. I don't know why you would think that he would owe you an apology.
Coach is a jerk.
I kind of appreciate him saying that he didn't think he owed him an apology because I kind of like that. There's a perception that the media is thin-skinned and that we're soft. I kind of like that he was like, whatever. I didn't need the apology. I'm going back to do my job.
Right.
So I think
because he was right about the story. I mean, being right was
Yeah,
good
he's
enough.
right. So it doesn't matter. Who's right? The guy looks like a jerk. Like I don't need to dance on his grave. Like let him hang himself.
Oh, so
no pun intended. That's wrong.
Yeah.
For
Phrasing. Yeah, we get it.
So I understand. I agree to a certain extent. It's one thing to say I didn't need an apology. It's another to say like I didn't just or I'm okay without one. But like he said he didn't deserve one. Like
I didn't expect it. I think he said.
So I mean, I guess it's just parsing words. But like it's okay if you don't need it. But one was warranted because you called him selfish.
Yeah,
like,
it
was stupid.
By the way, I mean, is there a robust media following college baseball? I didn't know that.
I mean,
was
there's a
thing.
college baseball media. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Especially in the SEC and stuff like that.
I guess
yeah.
in the SEC, it's just like it's not SEC football. Let's just put it that way. I don't feel
but that's the leading baseball conference too right
but,
now.
I mean, obviously the coach is not growing the sport by acting like a jackass in this sense.
Oh no, but I mean, and if there's 50 people after a Texas-Alabama football game in the press conference, there's probably 15 in Omaha for the end of that game.
Yeah, I mean, how much is there for a regular season game? 3?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you're not
I
going to
don't know.
travel.
It's just like it was an unnecessary. I'm agreeing with you guys. It was an unnecessarily patronizing, arrogant comment. Like, dude, you're like, kind of grow the sport. Be cool here.
But coaches on all levels do this. Like, how dare you ask me that?
Mm-hmm.
And then within 5 minutes, they're taking the job you were just asked about. You don't have to answer the question. You just can't attack the reporter for asking it.
You can say, we'll address that another time.
Right.
Something like that.
Yeah, but I think you can do that if you're Kirby Smart. I'm not this guy.
I mean, Roy Williams got heat for how he handled the thing,
with
and
he was even better than this Texas A&M coach.
One thing I thought about this too was Texas Tech lost their head coach basketball Chris Beard to Texas. Texas A&M lose their baseball coach to Texas. Like, there's any thought that these other two schools are anywhere in Texas's league? Like, I mean, this is kind of embarrassing, right? Mm-hmm. You lose your high-profile basketball coach. I know he had issues; he'd be fired at Texas almost immediately. But now you lose your baseball coach who's in the College World Series. It's like you want. I know they're little brother, but they don't want to think of themselves like that. But they certainly look like it this week.
Fair point. What else you got, Bogusch?
Novak Djokovic, Andy Murray in the Wimbledon draw released earlier today despite their recent injury issues. Djokovic is less than a month removed from meniscus surgery. Murray had a procedure for a spinal cyst just last weekend. Both players slated to play separately on Tuesday, giving them an extra day to see if they can actually compete.
Right. They're not guaranteed to play, though, right?
No, they still could back out, but now they're at least the possibility. They're technically still in the tournament at the moment.
Bogusch, thank you. Coming up, who had the worst week and who had the best week? A little stock up, stock down next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
The M&P 500 on the Infinity Sports Network.
All right, Perloff, time to take a look back over the week that was and assess whose stock is up and whose stock is down. It feels like this week was like 2 weeks jammed into one because of everything that happened. Who's your first stock up?
I want in on the Sha'Carri Richardson train. That's my new favorite Olympian because I want to win. She is destroying the Olympic trials. Here, let me get the number here. I think she set her own personal record. Yeah, she ran the season best time, the 200 at the trials. She is looking amazing. Great redemption story, which we all love.
Yep.
And I think that she's going to be a superstar in Paris. And we're getting really close now. We're only now, I think, a month away. So that's happening soon. To me, all the U.S. trials, I'm very optimistic about my team here. I know, that's so cheesy. But she really, I think I read that she's ahead of expectations on her times. That's really good.
Yeah, she like stumbled out of the blocks and still won in one of her trials. It was pretty amazing. Okay, my stock up for the week, and we got to go all the way back to a time called Monday when the Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup. That was literally this week. And how about Roberto Luongo, who is no longer a player, but works for the Florida Panthers? Did you see Perloff eating pasta
I love
out of the Stanley Cup, complete with the grated Parmesan cheese on the top? So obviously Luongo is Italian. He's a Hall of Fame goalie. And working for the Panthers, as I said, and eating the pasta out of the cup. I mean, take that.
It looks so delicious, too.
It did
pasta.
look delicious.
Yeah, I feel like I want to eat an Italian meal with him. Okay, stock down, Andy Perloff.
Stock down yourself?
Yes. The Phillies have lost 2 of 3, and now Bryce Harper is hurt.
Isn't the stock down then the Phillies?
No, because nothing has given me more joy the first half of the MLB season than walking in here proudly about my baseball team being the best team in baseball. And that is clearly all falling apart, and it's my fault. It's karma. Just being so arrogant around the office, watching, a lot of Mets fans here, watching them and other teams fail. Honestly, I got too full of myself, Mag.
That's a stock up.
But you guys would agree the reason the Phillies do well or not do well is because of my behavior toward the team. That's how it kind of
Exactly,
works.
yes.
It's definitely true.
Yeah, I mean, you're really pulling the strings on all of this stuff, so I would be more careful in the future.
I honestly was thinking about, wow, this is going to be so cool. I'm going to maybe this year we do it. I go down the parade. I always ruin my team by being overconfident.
Wow. I mean, bad job out of you. Stock down indeed. Well, if your stock's going to be down, I think my stock is actually a bit lower. I'm also going to give this to myself because yesterday was quite the debacle. Paid off a bet, tuna fish, lime, Jell-O. You may have heard about it if you were listening yesterday. It had green olives in it. It was awful. I mean, I'd love to be taking victory laps about this, and I got a lot of very supportive comments in the chat and otherwise. But, man, that stayed with me all day. And it might stay with me today. And by no fault of his own, my husband decided to make a tuna fish sandwich yesterday.
No.
And I almost threw him out a window.
Oh, my gosh.
He wasn't even thinking about it. He wasn't doing it to troll me, or at least I don't think so. But, yeah. So I had the smell of tuna fish sort of in my nostrils like all day and even could not get any relief once I was home. Major stock down.
I'm stunned you are here after your husband did that. I'm surprised you didn't get arrested.
In an
for
orange jumpsuit
jail.
somewhere. New Jersey
stunned.
jail. Yeah. So there you go. Anyone else? Stock up, stock down? I got a couple more if you want. You got anything else, bro?
No, I'm good.
All right. I had another stock up here. Stock up France. Once again, France comes out as the big winner. Perloff's all into the Paris Olympics. You had all those players get drafted in the first round from France.
They're all going to stink, by the way. Is everyone agreed on that?
And then another stock down. I think Belichick's stock down this week. A lot of Belichick talk about his girlfriend being so much younger. We got more details. They live together maybe, or she might have moved in at some point.
Well, that's like Pete said. Are you sure that's not stock up?
Well, I think
Yeah.
Belichick's getting the pats on the backs and the high fives that generally come along with these stories because the age gap is so big. It's like 40 years, isn't it? 42?
Yeah, but if you're him, do you care?
Well,
I think you're kind of psyched. You have a 24-year-old girlfriend.
I don't know. He's 72. I think people get psyched when your girlfriend's like
No.
15 years younger, 20 years younger, not 40 years younger.
I think you actually get more psyched when she's 40. No,
All right.
I don't know. I think that would be a good thing to happen to you at 72. The other guys in the room, if you're 72 and unfortunately you weren't with your partners anymore and you had a 24-year-old girlfriend, would that be good or bad?
I'm self-conscious, so it would be bad. I wouldn't do this, number one. But number two, even if somehow I did, I would just think people would look at me a certain way, and that would make me feel bad.
Yeah, she looks like his granddaughter.
I agree with DJ. I actually agree with EJ.
I
think it doesn't. It's not a good look.
I say you only live once. You might as well do it if it makes you happy.
All right.
You only live once. Drake, Andrew Perloff.
There you Wait, so Maggie,
Perloff said it best. YOLO.
if you were an older gentleman, just put your and you had a
What would
choice
that be
between
like?
a 44-year-old girlfriend and a 24-year-old girlfriend, knowing nothing, which would you take?
I mean, I'm closer to 44, and I can't even imagine dating someone in their 70s. And I don't even think that 70 is old, quite frankly. Like, in the scheme, like 70 is whatever, however you feel. But I can't even imagine doing that. So I can't even imagine a younger me doing that. And
okay, all right.
it's hard
what
for me
about
to put myself in the man's
what
shoes.
if you're in a Zach Wilson situation? Would you
No, that I would not do.
You would never hook up with
That's not my cup of tea.
a 19-year-old?
No,
What if it's a true hunk?
No, that is not my thing.
No sleeping with moms?
Any moms, just moms of America. Pete's worried.
You were generally like, there's no way. Like that.
I can't do it. I've got a son. I can't. No way. No way. Thank you, EJ Stewart. Thank you to Pete Pilati, Andrew Bogusch, Andrew Kaplan, Guido's Coffee Drinkers. Have a great weekend. We're back on Monday.